The arrival of the sanctuary, I became the king of angels in another world. Hey, fanfic family. So glad to see you here again to continue this incredible adventure. As always, kindly remember, this story is 100% fiction. So don't go looking for dimensional portals in your closet. All rights to this fantastic novel belong to the original author. We're just your humble narrators of epic tales. Are you enjoying the fanfic? Show it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and dropping us a like. And if you're impatient for more exclusive content, our Patreon is your happy place. Chapter 26. Yet, 1, Raina was very happy but also very sad, and said with emotion, "That's it, we have avenged them." Dora, Omi, did you all hear that? Oh, I'm sorry. As for Bernice, she looked at Raymond's back. He had attracted many little stars, but he actually succeeded and really killed that damn fiery tiger. He was awesome, so amazing. At the same time, Raymond also began to prepare to start his lottery drawing process with a solemn expression. "It depends on whether you make money or not. God bless you, give it to me," he murmured, and then immediately began to search for the body of the fiery tiger. Not long after, a huge fiery red magic core appeared in front of him. His mouth also split open and he laughed to his earlobes. Woohoo! This wave take off. A few days later, the northern dense forest exit. Raymond, thank you very much these days, and thank you for saving us and avenging us, Corinna said to Raymond gently. Her eyes were a little different, she seemed to be feeling something. Don't worry, when I get paid to do things, I have professional ethics. Haha, Lemon smiled, and then said again, then we will separate next time. Happy cooperation. If there is such a good thing next time, please contact me. Corinna rolled her eyes at him, and then said again, next we will return to Duke City. If you come to Duke City in the future, remember to come find us. Apart from this, we are also friends now, right? That's right, little brother Raymond, you must come to see us when you come to Duke City, our home is there. We are friends, we can play together when the time comes, Lena also said with a smile. They are all very enthusiastic about Raymond now, not only because he saved them and helped them get revenge, but more importantly, because of Raymond's age, strength, potential value, background and identity, etc. Wait. These are all worth letting them do. No one would refuse a strong good friend, right? Don't worry, if I have time to go there, I will find you. After all, you are all my big sponsors, ho ha ho ha. Let's go now. Be careful next time, don't let anything happen. Raymond smiled, then waved with his back to them, and led them away directly. Goodbye Raymond. Bernice jumped up and shouted, don't forget to come to us, thank you for saving us. Thank you, don't worry, see you later. The sound of Raymond's voice made Bernice quiet down, and then she pouted and asked, Sister Corinna, why don't you ask where he is from? In this case, can't we take the initiative to go there in the future, Diddy? Little Bernice, it seems you have fallen in love with him, right? Ha 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 ha, Corinna laughed. Where's there? Bernice blushed a little. If he is from our Principality of Lane, we will definitely see him in the future, but if it is other circumstances, if he doesn't say it himself, it doesn't really matter. So let's forget it. Corinna explained. Then she shook her head again and said tiredly, let's go back. After this trip, it's time for us to have a good rest. Fortunately, we survived. What a pity for Dora and the others. Why, as soon as these words came out, they all fell silent, the atmosphere became depressed, and then they all left silently. 2 days later, Greystone Village, the castle of the Bryan family. Ding, recruitment resources have been detected. Do you want to recruit the level 3 enhanced unit, Royal Griffin? Hearing this beautiful and sweet system prompt sound, Raymond suddenly laughed. His eyes suddenly narrowed into a smile. Hey. It's coming, it's finally coming. Ha ha ha, this wave of Royal Griffins is here too, comfortable. Ho ha ho ha, then he said immediately. Recruit, ding, host, please note that you have successfully recruited the 3rd level enhanced unit, the Royal Griffin. Ding. Attention, host Raymond, congratulations, you have successfully recruited the 3rd level enhanced unit, Royal Griffin. You have gained 70 years of fighting spirit cultivation. The power of your Griffin bloodline has been strengthened. You got the blueprint of the Tower of Light, and you got the magic weapon, the Sword of Light seal, rumble. At that moment, the holy light fighting key in Lei Meng's body suddenly surged. Then his power also began to surge instantly. he directly broke through to the level 6 Sky Warrior category. And at this moment, he clearly felt, the power of the Griffin bloodline in his body has been strengthened a lot, and it has become much stronger. It seems that this is the power of the bloodline enhancement. If he had the bloodline power of an ordinary Griffin before, then he should have the Royal Griffin in his body now, the power of bloodline. From level 3 normal to level 3 enhanced, which is level 6 in this world. And what are the Tower of Light and the Sword of Light seal? Raymond murmured. The extra rewards this time were obviously more than before, a total of 4. This also made him very interested in those 2 new things. But before that, he had another one. A more important thing, that is his new recruitment unit, the Royal Griffin. Boom. It's huge, more than 4 meters in size, and its whole body shines like lapis lazuli, the color of the dazzling sun. Although they are all griffins, the Royal Griffin in front of him is obviously huge, majestic, and much more handsome and dazzling. With a bang, he also knelt down and said loudly with a majestic rumble, Royal Griffin Alderson, see the great and respected Lord, welcome, Alderson. Raymond patted Alderson's majestic and powerful body with satisfaction, then let him get up, and said with a smile, I don't have many rules here, so you can move around freely. There are still some of your companions outside, but they are ordinary level 3 griffins. Next, you should act with them first. I know, Lord. It's an honor to be your subordinate. I'm going out first. Alton nodded and said respectfully, then turned around and left, fluttering his wings and flying high. At the same time, Raymond also began to look at the drawings of the Tower of Light and the Sword of Light seal in a blink of an eye. Blueprint of the Tower of Light. This is the blueprint of the Holy Temple Castle that can build the Tower of Light. The following materials are required: rock XXX, magic mithril XXX, light magic stone XXX. The existence of the Tower of Light can illuminate the darkness and condense the power of light magic. Particle elements increase the concentration of light magic power and have a certain degree of offensiveness. The lethality can reach level 4 normal. Hiss. Seeing this, Raymond immediately took a breath. This thing is a bit fierce. It seems really powerful. Chapter 27. Illuminating the darkness? Is it equal to the power of dark magic? Condensing light magic power. Particle elements increase the concentration of light magic power. It is equivalent to improving the power of the natural environment, allowing them to give birth to more geniuses with light power, or increasing the cultivation speed of these powerful people. Have some aggression? Can the lethality reach level 4 normal? It is even simpler, which means that this thing can also be used as a sentry tower and has attack power. It is even comparable to level 7 combat power in this world. Completely versatile. But it seems like we can only build one building, and we also need construction materials. This seems to be quite troublesome. I don't know if these things are easy to get, Raymond murmured. He glanced around and saw about 10 kinds of building materials. Most of them he knew, but there were also some that he, or his predecessor, didn't seem to have in his memory, or didn't know. This was a little bit confusing. Trouble. It seems we can only wait until spring begins, he murmured, toward the second thing. The Sword of Light seal. This is a sword that contains the power of light. It is very powerful, and it is said that this was once the legendary god, the sword of the Angel clan, but is it true or false? No one knows the truth anymore. The sword of the Angel clan. Lemon raised his eyebrows. If it is true, this is a bit scary. Because if we look at the current pace, those angels of the 7th level, or even the 7th level enhanced arms, I'm afraid they are really genuine. God of God. Raymond picked up the Sword of Light seal and tried it. Wow. Suddenly, a huge dazzling white holy light sword energy shot out. It blasted out very fast, and then he didn't even react. Then he heard a loud roar. Boom. Boom. On the ground, the power of his blow actually blasted the ground of his training ground into a huge rock several meters deep. Pothole? This not only made him raise his eyebrows, he was also surprised. This can actually increase my holy light fighting spirit? Isn't this really the sword of the Angel clan? So fierce, that's right. With the use of the Sword of Light seal, he clearly felt that his holy light Dao Ki power had increased to a certain extent. And the magnitude of this increase was even more than double. It was a full that's twice as much? You can imagine what this concept is. This is completely a magic weapon, or a concept of the capabilities of a legendary or mythical weapon. This is definitely helpful for his current actual combat effectiveness. It was a huge improvement. It was no exaggeration to say that as long as he held this sword, he wouldn't have to worry about any enemies below level 7. He could definitely touch them. Thinking of this, Raymond's face flashed again. In addition to looking very excited and happy, he said, "It is indeed a product produced by the system. It is really a masterpiece. Ho ha ho ha, this time it's another big improvement. It's so comfortable." Ha 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 ha, he laughed, and then played with his sword of light seal for a long time. Even the cold temperature, the white snow in the sky, and the thick layer of snow on the ground did not stop his enthusiasm. Later, he knew that the night when the day came, he finally returned to his castle. In addition to the additional rewards for these newly recruited members of the first level 3 enhanced unit, the Royal Griffin, their group in the northern dense forest had also gained a huge harvest before. They came back well after sorting these out. I quickly sorted out the accurate data. First of all, it was Warcraft Meat, level 6 Fire Tiger Corpse X1, level 5 Shadow Black Snake King Corpse X1, level 4 Shadow Black Snake, and those other various types of Warcraft corpses X7. These alone can basically account for most of their income from Warcraft Meat during this trip. In addition, there are also some Warcraft Meat of various types of level 3 Warcraft. Relatively speaking, these are not that important, and then there is the Magic Core. Level 4 Magic Core X2. Level 3 Magic Core X28. Level 2 Magic Core X79. Of course, these Magic Cores do not include the ones he had successfully recruited in the northern dense forest. After thinking about it, Raymond decided to seal up these Magic Cores first and not use them for the time being. If there are any in the future, he can wait until spring and exchange them for higher level Magic Cores. This should be more cost-effective for him. And in this case, his current strength becomes Royal Griffin X1, Griffin X4, Temple Marksman X10, Temple Archer X9, Temple Grand Guard X30, Temple Lancer X139. The overall strength has been improved to a big level again. The strength has increased significantly. The following days began to become a little quiet again. As time passed, winter officially arrived. The temperature also continued to drop, almost reaching -40 degrees. And under this terrifying cold, all their activities seemed to slow down or even stop. The entire Greystone village was quiet, except for the occasional you can hear the circling flight of those powerful griffins, the Royal Griffins. Apart from the neighing sound, the only thing that is most obvious is the heavy falling sound of the white snow. And at this time, it stands to reason that under normal circumstances, large-scale casualties or even deaths should happen one after another. This is because the temperature is already too low and its own strength is insufficient. There are many weak, sick and disabled, ordinary people, and even level 1 professionals. At this moment, it is very likely that you will not be able to resist. But things are different now, because before that, Raymond had already taken out the low-level Warcraft Meat that had been stored in the warehouse for a round and distributed it. Warcraft Meat contains part of the magical power of Warcraft when it was alive. Although it is not much, it is enough to help ordinary people resist the severe cold that is not too abnormal. And the higher the level, the more obvious the effect. There were a lot of level 1 and level 2 monster meat stored in the Bryan family's warehouse before. Coupled with this operation, there was a bumper harvest of level 3 and level 4 monster meat. So Raymond was very generous and included the stock of level 1, level 2, and even level 3 Warcraft meat into the distribution plan so that they could be distributed gradually. And after this, although the severe cold and snow cover forced the place to become quiet, but at some point in the homes of the people in Greystone Village, there were obviously more voices appearing in unison. Long live the Lord is so kind to us. Not only does he sell us food so cheaply, but he also gives us Warcraft meat to eat. Long live the Lord. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. Mom, we don't have to be afraid of the cold this winter. With some of these monster meats, we can survive. I will definitely go there next spring to thank the Lord, he saved us. The poor and suffering Greystone village began to hear more beautiful voices, and in such an atmosphere, time began to pass quickly. 1 or 2 days, or even half a month, or a month, everything goes smoothly and nothing happens, but by this time, The most terrifying and dangerous cold wave in winter, February, has finally arrived quietly. The stability of the earth has further declined, and cold wave storms have even begun to appear. The so-called cold wave storm is a storm that contains powerful ice and snow power. This power looks like a tornado, but it continues to emit terrifying low temperatures and can move, and the number is still very low. Wherever it goes, it will be affected. In this case, if you are lucky, the temperature will just drop and you can just survive it. If you are not lucky, it will be really unlucky. It may even be destroyed by these terrifying cold wave storms. You can imagine what this concept is. This is a natural disaster. The most terrifying natural disaster during the cold wave in February. But fortunately, it's not all bad news. With a cold wave coming in February, Raymond and the others finally got some long-lost good news. That's Matt German. He successfully broke through to level 5. He successfully became a noble and powerful level 5 Earth warrior. This result is not only related to Matt German's own accumulation and efforts, but also related to the Warcraft meat. Warcraft meat contains powerful magical power, and of course it can also help improve your strength. It's just that this method is extremely cost-effective and too luxurious, so few people will use it this way. But of course Raymond doesn't care about it. In his eyes, these monster meats are food. Since it is food, it must be edible. On this day, in a certain direction outside Greystone Village, in the cold, thick layer of white snow, some figures began to appear. And their number is not small, hundreds of them, but their current condition is obviously very bad. Some people have fallen into coma, their bodies are black and blue and frozen, and some people have dull eyes, trembling and cold. It felt as if they were going to die at any time, but they still had very few clothes on them, and they had almost no effect of keeping warm. Obviously, they are all refugees, a bunch of very pitiful people in this cold winter, but fortunately, they don't seem to have nothing. Suddenly there is a voice at the forefront of these people, and if you look carefully, it is shocking as he a distinguished magician wearing a red flame magic robe. He looks only 40 or 50 years old, but he is obviously filled with amazing heat, or fire. If I am correct, he should be a fire magician, and he should not be too weak. Kona Knight, there is a village ahead, let's go take a look. Moreover, I remember this place. If I remember correctly, it should be Greystone Village, the territory of Baron Omar. He is a good man, I think he will accept us, the magician said to the knight beside him. It was a knight with a stern face, and she was actually a female knight. She had slender golden hair that reached her waist. She was very dazzling and beautiful, and her face was delicate. The fair skin is like a dazzling diamond, dazzling. Especially her eyes. Like azure ocean gems, full of charm and addictive. However, there is an inappropriate handful on her back, the giant battle axe. It definitely looks like a good weapon. It feels very imposing and powerful. She glanced at her companion and said coldly, I hope so, then they walked silently in the direction of the Greystone Village. Not long after, they arrived at their destination, and they saw that the short, shabby gate of the Greystone Village had even been covered by the white snow, and only the inside of the city was crooked. 8 shabby wooden houses can barely prove their identity. This is Greystone Village. Why? The magician sighed, and then walked towards the door, but at this moment, a voice suddenly came. It even scared him a little. Stop. Stand there and don't move. The magician and the Nikona knight instantly raised their heads and saw that somewhere in the Greystone Village, there were actually several gleaming cold arrows, which were already aimed at them quietly. Looking at them. Look carefully, it's Nags, Sheen and the others. Archer, and this feeling is still level 4, the magician and knight Nikona looked at each other, a little shocked. It's not that they don't believe that there are level 4 professionals in Greystone Village. In fact, they are all level 4. However, these archers in front of them are enough. There are 4 of them, and they seem to be still guarding the door. This really makes them feel a little incredible. This is the cold wave in February, the most dangerous and coldest season in winter. If they don't stay at home to keep warm, what does it mean to guard the gate and suffer punishment? Isn't this what they were dreaming about? But they reacted quickly. Sorry, the magician quickly apologized on the spot, then raised his hand towards Nagus and Sheen who were inside the gate of Greystone Village, and made a qualified noble magician salute, and then spoke again, Road. Hello everyone, my name is Chris, and I am a level 4 advanced fire magician. Also, this is my companion Kona, who is also a level 4 advanced knight. But as you can see, we are actually on the run. These latter are all villagers from our former territory. Sorry, please rest assured, we really don't mean any harm, but I wonder if you can let us talk to Baron Omar? Master Chris said humbly. Baron Omar, Nagus and Machine looked at each other, and then saw Nagus said calmly, there is no Baron Omar here anymore, now the owner here is the great and noble Lord Raymond. As soon as these words came out, the Chris magician and the Niconan knight were stunned for a moment, and then their faces sank, and their expressions were a little uncomfortable, especially the Chris magician, whose expression was even more complicated at this time. Some helpless smiles, because he originally planned to rely on the previous conversations and familiarity to win the other party's acceptance, but now everything is shattered. Baron Omar is gone? Couldn't it be God knows the new so-called Raymond? Sir, what kind of person is he? More importantly, there are still hundreds of them. This is definitely a huge burden for the not-so-big gray stone village in front of us, so even if it is with his butt, you can imagine that the other party will definitely reject them, right? Chapter 29. Hey, Master Chris sighed in his heart, feeling helpless, but at this moment the cold-looking Conan knight still spoke. She said slowly, everyone, please tell me about the Lord Raymond you are talking about. We want to see him and talk to him, okay? After a pause, she sighed again. You have also seen that behind us are some ordinary people. Their current situation is very bad. Many people are dying of frostbite and hunger. Poor people are human beings too. So, can you please help them? Although she said the request in her mouth, in fact, she had already been mentally prepared to be rejected, because to be honest, even she herself understood that this kind of thing was completely stupid and holy behavior. Why should others do it? Help you? You will definitely be rejected, right? However, what they heard next made them unable to believe their ears. Come in, everyone. Nagus nodded directly towards them, and then turned around without hesitation. Said to his companions beside him, Sheen, go and inform the Lord. Comic, go and prepare food and Warcraft meat. These people are in terrible condition. Prepare more Warcraft meat so that they can recover. Demon, monster meat. Chris magician stammered and murmured, as if he never expected that such a thing would happen, because in his opinion, it is already good for the other party to accept these ordinary poor people behind them. As for food? Or even Warcraft meat? They have never thought about this. They even dare not think about it at all. He couldn't help but ask, but after saying 2 words, he didn't know how to finish. How should I ask this? Why accept them? Why prepare food and even monster meat for them? This made him a little dazed, like he was dreaming. However, at this moment, another voice suddenly came. Master Chris, is that you? Long time no see. Master Chris was stunned for a moment when he heard this voice, and then quickly turned his head to look, only to find that it was Matt German who was here. Then he immediately laughed and said excitedly, Matt German Knight. Is it really you? Why are you still here? Why can't I be here? Matt German said with a smile. Then he walked up and said to everyone, don't be afraid, everyone, follow me and I will take you in. If you are hungry, don't worry. Just hold on a little longer. We have already sent people to prepare food and supplies. Everyone, just hold on a little longer and it will be fine. The numb crowd was silent for a moment, and then unexpectedly burst into a burst of cheers. Boom, grain, I'm so hungry, I want to eat, great, we are saved, Mom, Dad, look, we are saved, you must hold on, woohoo, finally, someone is willing to accept us, great. The icy cold wave in February had eroded and numbed their hearts, but now, a ray of light finally shined in. They were saved. Then they all excitedly followed Matt German into the gray stone village, and went to the big house, or the big factory, and the big warehouse that Raymond and the others had prepared in advance. The accommodation conditions were just like this, but fortunately, it's a good meal. Soon, barrels of wheat, steamed rice, and plates of meat with tempting aromas were all delivered here one after another. Let the common people eat rice and meat. When they saw this scene, the eyes of Knight Kona and Master Chris were red, and their whole bodies were trembling. Their emotions were very complicated. Perhaps only they could understand this feeling, infinite despair, and finally being saved. I really don't know how to describe this feeling. It was really difficult. Then I saw Master Chris taking a deep breath and bowing to Matt German. Knight Matt German, thank you very much, you saved us. At the same time, Knight Nikona immediately did the same thing. Thank you, Matt German Knight, ha ha ha. However, the Knight Matt German smiled, and then he picked up 2 pieces of roasted meat and handed them to the mage Chris and the knight Kona. Come on, have a piece. These are level 3 monster meat. They taste very good. Level 3, Conan Knight was stunned for a moment, took a bite, and then suddenly became surprised. He said in disbelief, really? Is it really level 3? Knight Matt German, you guys, this is too much, she stuttered. She wanted to say that this was too luxurious, right? But when the words came to his lips, he didn't know how to say them out, because the beneficiaries were obviously them. However, Matt German seemed to have guessed her thoughts, and then nodded with a smile. Yes, it is quite luxurious. I think so too, ha ha ha. But this is not what I meant, so you have thanked the wrong person. If you want to thank, you should also thank our Lord. Lord, Conan Knight and Mage Nacris looked at each other, and then the latter couldn't help but ask. Knight Matt German, I just heard that Baron Omar is no longer here. That's right, he's dead. Oh. Matt German sighed, and then said directly, the current Lord is Baron Raymond, the son of Baron Omar. He is a great lord and a good man, so if you want to thank him, just thank him. Baron Omar's son, Master Chris opened his mouth and was a little surprised. But at this moment, there was a sudden commotion and even a sound of fear outside the warehouse door, and then he saw a huge creature following a young man. Behind them, they slowly walked and hissed, what is this? Warcraft? What kind of monster is this? What a powerful momentum. Seeing that huge creature, Master Chris's pupils suddenly shrunk and his whole body tense up. As a senior magician who is extremely sensitive to magical power, of course he can feel the terror and power of the other party immediately. This kind of oppressive momentum, yes. It's absolutely not wrong. This is definitely a very terrifying monster, even at least level 5 or above. But at this moment, the sound of Matt German suddenly sounded beside him, a slightly respectful voice. Lord Baron, you are here, Alderson, hello. Obviously, the person coming is none other than Raymond. And the Royal Griffin, Alderson. Uncle Matt German. Raymond smiled and said hello, then looked at the Chris Mage, and the Conan Knight asked, who are the two of them? Lord Baron, this is Master Chris, and this is Knight Kona, they are the leaders of these civilians. Mage Chris, Knight Kona, this is our Lord of Greystone Village, Baron Raymond, Matt German introduced. Chapter 30. Hello, Baron Raymond, I am Chris, a senior fire magician, level 4 senior Knight Kona, you're welcome, Baron Raymond. At the same time, even the civilians who were excited to eat meat became restrained and quiet. They didn't dare to eat. One can imagine how oppressive Alderson was, but at the same time, maybe it's also related to Raymond's arrival. Mom, is that brother the Lord here? Did he give us meat to eat? A very cute and thin little girl asked timidly. But her mother immediately covered her mouth and said in panic, Oriel, stop talking, shut up. After seeing this scene, Raymond also walked towards them. Immediately, the faces of Mage Chris and Knight Kona changed and they panicked. But they didn't dare to move or say anything. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. Suddenly, the little girl's mother suddenly knelt down, kowtowed to Raymond and begged for mercy. Lord, I'm sorry, Oriel is still young, she didn't mean it. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, please don't hurt her. I'm sorry, if you want to kill, just kill me. Raymond suddenly smiled bitterly, stretched out his hand to pull the woman up, and then said with a smile, don't worry, I don't eat people, and I'm not that scary. The woman was stunned for a moment, and then saw Raymond picking up a piece of barbecue, handing it to the timid little girl whose face was pale with fear, and said with a smile, your name is Oriel, right? Take it and eat it. If that's not enough, there's more here. The little girl was stunned for a moment, and stared at Raymond with a pair of bright little eyes. Until she saw the smile on his face and the brightness in his eyes, she finally burst into tears. Woohoo, big brother, you scared me to death. I thought I was going to die. Then she immediately picked up the piece of meat and started chewing it, her mouth full of oil, and her little face smiled very happily. Thank you, big brother. It's so kind of you. After seeing this scene, the originally tense and depressing atmosphere in the warehouse was immediately cleared away, and everyone laughed excitedly. Then they cheered. Long live the Lord. Thank you, Lord Baron, you are such a good man. Ha ha ha, we can eat meat. My Lord Baron, may we join your domain? We can do anything. Would you like to accept us? After seeing this scene, the Knight of Kona and the Master of Chris looked at each other, and then they quickly knelt down on one knee and said to Raymond, Dear Baron Raymond, please allow us to join your territory. I, Kona, Chris, am willing to be your loyal subordinate and give everything for you. Obviously, everything Raymond did before has conquered them. And they no longer want to wander, so if they can join Greystone Village, this is definitely the best result. And after seeing this scene, Raymond he also nodded and said with a smile, I will ask someone to send ID tokens later. Each of you will receive one and keep it safe, because from now on, this will be your identity certificate in our Greystone Village. As soon as this was said, everyone cheered long live the Lord, long live the Lord, long live the Lord. But at this moment, Knight Nakona suddenly whispered, Lord, can the tax issue be eased? They have nothing on them, and now they can't get any copper coins at all. As soon as these words came out, the civilians began to get nervous. Although they are very willing to join Greystone Village, if they understand taxation, it will definitely kill them. However, Raymond laughed directly and said, ha ha ha, don't worry, it's okay. At the same time, Matt German also spoke and said with a smile, our taxes here are very small, only 100 copper coins. 100 copper coins? Everyone trembled and their hearts tightened. 1 month, Master Chris trembled. Matt German glanced at them, and then said with a smile, 1 year. And it is based on the family unit. 100 copper coins per family per year, and there is no limit on the number of people, any number is okay. As soon as these words came out, everyone became stunned, and then burst into ecstasy. Only 100 copper coins a year? Is this too little? Can it really be this good? Woohoo, if only I had come here earlier, the Lord here is really nice, long live my Lord. Everyone is excited. Tax is one of the biggest hardships in life for them, but now it has become so little. For them, it is really no different from having a new life. It is really great. Lord, you are so kind, you are really a good person. Conan Knight looked at Raymond's figure and murmured. However, he was heard, so he said with a smile, don't be too busy praising me. You are the number, you are not. In my place, you little nobles, businessmen, and professionals all have to pay more. You have to pay taxes of 10 silver coins a year. I'm very evil, ha ha ha. As soon as these words came out, Knight Kona and Master Chris were stunned for a moment, and then they both laughed. They were filled with emotions at the same time. Baron Raymond, this is really a unique lord and noble. In the following days, the addition of Knight Kona and Master Chris did not cause much disturbance, because this is still the most troublesome period of the cold wave in February. In such severe cold and extreme weather, everyone knows there is only one word that can be done, and that is to survive. Just survive it. At this time, because of their participation, the population of Greystone Village has successfully exceeded 2,000 and reached 2,100. Perhaps not long after, it can be transformed from a village into a town. The general conditions for turning into a town are also very simple, with a population of more than 10,000, a decent city area, and the guardianship of a level 5 professional. This is enough. For example, Viscount Knowles, this is the case with Eaton City. It is a qualified town. And the permanent population there is even more than 30,000, more than 10 times theirs. However, in the next few days, new refugees arrived. There were about 200 or 300 people here, right? He didn't think much about it. Raymond accepted them all. However, after that, they seemed to have stung a hornet's nest. In the following days, groups of refugees flocked to them one after another to give back the family affection during. Chapter 31. There are as few people, as many as dozens, and as many as hundreds or even thousands. Yes. There were even some knights and barons with knighthoods who actually fled to him. In this way, the population of their Greystone Village began to skyrocket. In less than half a month, their population has exceeded the 8,000 mark. It was only one step away from the tens of thousands mark, and this finally made Raymond and the others feel that something was not right. The phenomenon of refugees in the severe cold winter is normal, but with such a large number of refugees fleeing, it seems a little abnormal. So after careful investigation, they finally found the answer. Border war. Hearing the answer found by Matt German and the others, Raymond was a little surprised. Yes, the exact reason is unknown, but 2 months ago, the De Kingdom in the north actually sent troops to attack the city of Reims, an important city on our northern border. This also caused many small fiefdoms on the border to be destroyed, resulting in the emergence of a large number of refugees. Most of the refugees who have come to us recently are from there. Matt German said with a frown. So that's the case, but what's going on in Dick's kingdom? Even 2 months ago, it was the time for winter to arrive. A war at this time? Why do they do this? Lemon wondered. Kingdom of Dick? Kingdom of Kingdom. You can tell by the name. This is a more powerful country than the Principality of Lane, but even so, it is very stupid to start a war in winter. It will completely hurt the enemy by 1,000. You're doing 800 harm to yourself. It's totally harming others and yourself. Lord, Dick Kingdom is the most powerful country in our region. It is also one of the only 2 kingdoms. Their land area is more than 10 times that of our Principality of Lane, and their overall strength is much stronger than ours, even. It is said that they also possess the legendary level 9 Sun Yao War Master, Matt German said with a solemn expression. Level 9 Sun Yao Battle Master, what is that? Raymond asked. He knew the classification of professionals below level 7, level 1 trainee, level 2 low level, level 3 intermediate, level 4 advanced, level 5 earth, level 6 sky, level 7? Level 7 seems to be stars. Lord, level 7 professionals are called stars. For example, Star Battle Master, Star Grand Mage, etc. Level 8 professionals are called Heir. Level 9 is Sun Yao. In our Kingdom of Lion, the most powerful expert is only level 8. For example, the Grand Commander of the Royal Guards, Mr. Coent, and our most powerful First Legion in the Principality of Lane. General Reich, the commander of the Black Tank Legion, they are all level 8, Matt German explained. When he said this, he suddenly smiled and said, Raymond, in fact, your father and I were both members of the 3rd affiliated legion under the Black Tank Legion. It was also because of his meritorious service in the battle that he was able to obtain the title of Baron. I was also tired at the time, so I came back with him. As for the reason for starting the war in winter, there are only a few situations. Revenge, go ape? Or maybe they should find something good somewhere over the border. This should be the case. Hearing this, Raymond nodded. What good thing did he find? Perhaps this is indeed the most reasonable explanation. After all, as long as the benefits are big enough, let alone the severe cold winter. I am afraid that even if there is a knife from the sky, some people will dare to do it. Go ahead. This is human nature, and also the cruelty and greed of those in power. It seems like this should be the case. He nodded, but at this moment, Matt German spoke again, saying, Raymond, if this is the case, we may have to make early plans next time. Perhaps this attack by Natick Kingdom is just an ordinary attack, but for us, the Principality of Lane, we need to do our best to defend. If this war doesn't stop after spring begins, I think there may be new actions on it. New action? Raymond's eyes flashed. Uncle Matt German, you mean the draft? Yes, it is possible. Matt German nodded and said, conscription, this is the power of the kingdom, we can't refuse. Otherwise, you are going against the entire country. Raymond rubbed his head. This is troublesome. His current strength is not enough to fight against the state machine, so if it really comes to that point, then he may have to accept it, but then he suddenly figured it out. This doesn't seem to have anything to do with us now, right? What if his current strength has been known to the upper echelons of the Principality of Lane? This may indeed be quite dangerous, because of level 5 and level 6 combat power. This can definitely be used as cannon fodder, but the problem is that you must not know it now, right? Externally, his current role is probably just an inconspicuous and unremarkable little baron and little nobleman. There are definitely a lot of such existences in the Principality of Lane. There are as many as he wants, so this kind of thing will never be his turn, unless the Dick Kingdom really comes for a war to destroy the country, or really intends to destroy their Ryan Kingdom and get a piece of their flesh. Otherwise, it is impossible for a war to affect them here. His place is absolutely stable and very safe. Uncle Matt German, it looks like we need to keep a low profile now, Lemon said softly, and Matt German also nodded and said, yes, it is best not to discover our true strength now, but this may be a bit difficult. Why? Raymond frowned slightly. We have absorbed too many immigrants this winter. It even includes some businessmen, strong professionals, knights with titles, barons who have lost their fiefs, etc. To be honest, Raymond, looking at it now, I think this was a wrong decision, because even if they lost their fiefdom, they are still inextricably connected with the nobles from the outside world. In this case, to be honest, it is difficult to keep our secrets. There may even be news about us that has been leaked. But this chance is very small. After all, it is still the cold wave period in February. It is unlikely that their people will go out now, but no matter what, After winter ends, these risks will be infinitely magnified, and there is another very troublesome thing. What is it? Raymond asked. Chapter 32. How should we deal with the positioning of those nobles? Matt German looked at Raymond with a complex expression and said, "We can accept your arrangements and ideas, but they may be difficult. If they choose to leave after winter is over, they will inevitably leak the situation on our side. But what should we do if they don't leave? Go back to the old ways and tolerate them?" This is a very troublesome question. Raymond was stunned for a moment, and then his face became serious. Uncle Matt German, what should I do next? He really didn't think so much before. He only thought that an increase in population would be good, but now it seems that more people are not a good thing. These nobles, knights, merchants, professionals, and strong men are almost all big thunders. The easiest way is to let them die. Matt German paused and said with a wry smile. But the price is too high, Raymond. It's okay to kill one or two, but once it's discovered that he massacred nobles on a large scale, or even title holders, this is undoubtedly a capital crime. The risk is extremely high, and in this case, it will be difficult for us to identify which one of them is real. If you sincerely join us, you can do it in one go. This is actually very unfair to them. Lehman opened his mouth and fell into silence. Is the risk extremely high? He doesn't care about this. What he lacks now is indeed time. As long as the time is long enough, he can completely expand an extremely powerful temple. The castle army. So as long as he can step on the timeline and become stronger, he doesn't care about the so-called sanctions of the Principality of Lane. By then, they probably won't dare. But what he cares about is the latter one, indeed. If it's really all over the place, if they were all killed, this would be unfair to those who sincerely surrendered to them. Lord, I have an idea. Is it possible? At this moment, a voice came, and Nagus behind Raymond spoke. What idea? Just abolish their armed forces, Nagus said calmly. All you need to do is give an order. No one is allowed to keep private armed forces in our Greystone village. Those who have existed in the past will be disbanded immediately. Anyone who violates this will be directly executed. But what if they pretend to disband? Matt German hesitated. We can pretend that the management of this order is very loose, and it doesn't matter even if it is not disbanded. In this case, people who are lucky or even have other thoughts will naturally have flaws. We just need to keep an eye on them silently and finish them off in one pot at a certain time. Moreover, our temple marksmen and archers can handle this task. There should be no problem. Nags said good idea. Matt German's eyes lit up. Indeed, what is true cannot be false, and what is false cannot be true. If you confuse them a little and give them an illusion, they will naturally reveal their flaws. This is definitely not wrong, and it is even more the important thing is that in this case, they have enough reasons. It is natural to kill people, and they are not afraid of being caught. But at this time, Raymond looked a little weird. This method? The smell is very strong. It's a proper fishing law enforcement is so despicable. But he likes it. Ho ha ho ha. Then it's settled. Uncle Matt German, you have to arrange the decree. Nags, the task of monitoring them will be left to you. Are your current military strength still sufficient? Raymond asked. That should be enough, right? Nagus nodded, but then quickly shook his head and said, but Lord, if there are more people, it should be more convenient. That's right. As soon as he said this, Matt German also nodded and said, Lehman, it's February, the cold wave, and we're still in a special period, so our military strength is barely enough. But if this period passes, our current military strength will definitely not be enough. It's only more than 100, which is too much less. It needs to be at least 300 or more, and if in the spring, other people know about our situation, I believe there will definitely be more by then. Larger population migration is coming. So Lord Barren, we should recruit troops in time, whether they are our former members or those who join now. If they can pass the test, I think we can still trust them. Arrange for them to do something. I see. Hearing this, Raymond nodded, and then asked, Uncle Matt German, how much magic core do we have in storage now? There are now 3 level 4 magic cores, 33 level 3 magic cores, 93 level 2 magic cores, and 55 level 1 magic cores, Matt German said without thinking. Why so many? Lemon was stunned for a moment, a little surprised. He remembered that when he came back from the northern jungle, there weren't so many. That's right, this is all thanks to Mr. Walderson, as well as Ovens, Merck and the others. Matt German nodded and said although it is still the cold wave of February, they have been hunting and looking for food by themselves during this time. At the same time, these extra magic cores were also brought back by them. Otherwise, I'm afraid there will still be some problems with food. What is the problem? Could it be that our food reserves are no longer enough? Raymond frowned slightly. That's true, but that's not the problem. German shook his head and said, I originally wanted to tell you some time later, but now that we've talked about it, let's just talk about it together. After a pause, his eyes flickered. By now, our population has reached more than 8,000. If we continue like this, we won't be able to sustain food for a month and a half. But by then, winter should be over. So as long as we don't encounter large-scale refugees anymore, there shouldn't be any big problems, but the problem exists here. After spring, we must solve this problem. Food, this is a necessity, especially the food consumption of nearly 10,000 people. This is not a small amount. I see. Raymond nodded and asked again. So what was the problem you mentioned earlier? It's a question of meat and Warcraft meat. Meat, yes. German nodded and explained, for Mr. Walderson and the others, food cannot meet their physical needs. They need meat, even Warcraft meat. Fortunately, they did not take the initiative to eat our reserve meat, but chose to go out hunting and be self-sufficient. Otherwise, this would probably be a problem. After listening to these words, Raymond began to feel a little helpless and had a headache. Chapter 33. Lord? It sounds very exciting, and most of the time it is indeed very good and majestic. But the more it is like this, the larger the territory and the larger the population, the more prominent these problems will be. The more trouble. What a mess. Just listening to it gave him a headache. But who made him the Lord? Well, that's pleasure mixed with pain. No way, Uncle German, I got it. Let's do this first, Lemon said. After hearing this, German and Nagus also resigned and left. Not enough troops? Then there will only be explosive troops. All the problems stem from the lack of troops. Since this is the case, Raymond is too lazy to worry about it anymore, and just use them all. And compared to other people, he still unconditionally trusts his army of the Holy Temple and Castle. So it's one thing if there are no conditions, and it's another thing if there are conditions. Just mindlessly blasting soldiers. So, he went straight to the warehouse and used all the stored magic cores. Recruit explosive soldiers. Recruit. Ding. Host, please note that you have successfully recruited level 2 enhanced units, Templar Marksman X3, level 2 ordinary arms, Temple Archer X33, level 1 enhanced arms, Temple Grand Guards X93, level 1 ordinary arms, Temple Gun. Soldier X55. In this case, his current strength will become Royal Griffin X1, Griffin X4, Temple Marksman X13, Temple Archer X42, Temple Grand Guard X123, Temple Lancer X194. A wave of stud, reaching new highs. This also allowed their previous military pressure in Greystone Village to be instantly stabilized. Only more than 100 troops were not enough. But this is almost 400, which is definitely enough. That same day and night, the private arms ban ordinance was promulgated, and this, like a drop of water dripping into a pan of oil, caused some people to immediately boil. They were like ignited explosive barrels, completely exploding. Full of rage and fury. Damn it, damn it. It's really abominable. How dare he do it? Why does he dare to deprive us of our private armed forces? This is the power given to us by the principality. We are nobles. He doesn't have this qualification. Absolutely not. No, it's absolutely impossible. I am a great noble, a noble baron, and my guard power is mine. He has no right to do this. Hateful, everyone, she is provoking me. I want to go find him. I want to question him. Why? This is impossible. As night falls, somewhere in Greystone Village, the small outside nobles, barons, businessmen, and even their vassals, professional and powerful people, etc., have all gathered here. Moreover, their expressions are still very ugly now, and they are constantly yelling and cursing here. Venting their grievances in anger, they look very angry. Obviously, this was because they had all received a private armed ban order designated by German. From now on, their private armed forces and guards, everything will be cancelled and deprived of everything, and for nobles like them. Of course, this is absolutely unacceptable. They have now lost their fiefdom and their people, and they are still dependent on others, living a lower status in life. Life is very difficult. What the hell does this mean? Is that damn Baron Raymond crazy? He actually dared to deprive them of their security forces and private armed forces. This was completely cutting off their escape route. No, it's impossible, absolutely not. That's my right. Why should I be deprived of my protective power? I absolutely cannot accept it. Some people roared, yelled, and even smashed things in front of them in anger. The shots made a bang-bang sound. Although other people were not so crazy, their faces were still ashen and extremely gloomy, and even the faces of the people were still full of ferocity, and their eyes revealed a strong fierce light. It was obvious that they had murderous intentions. For them, the power of protection is their lifeblood and their foothold. Originally, they had no intention of surrendering to Raymond, so they were definitely not likely to be so obedient and give up everything. This damn Baron Raymond, he is simply looking for death. Baron Kodak, what do you think we should do now? It's impossible to really do what he said, right? Someone cursed angrily, and then looked in a certain direction, and there, a fat man with blonde hair, who was quite neatly dressed and had a fat head and big ears, sat with a calm expression. There, from beginning to end, he didn't even say a word. It was as if he wasn't angry at all, and it didn't matter at all. Do what he says. Of course, don't forget that they have now joined him. As the Lord's will, how can we, the nobles of the territory, not accept it? Baron Kodak said lightly. Do what he says. How is that possible, Baron Kodak? Are you kidding me? When the others heard what he said, their expressions immediately changed and they said in disbelief. This is absolutely impossible. Do you want us to give up our guard force? No. I just said just do what he says. This is very simple. Baron Kodak smiled and said calmly, it's February with a cold wave now. It's impossible for us to leave here and live under someone else's roof, so we can only do this, but in a month at most, the cold wave will end in February, and in a month and a half at most, early spring will arrive. By then, we can leave here. Paused, he squinted his eyes and sneered. He is just a baron and has the same status as us. He can't control us yet. So, please be patient for a little more than a month until we leave here. It's all over. As soon as these words came out, everyone couldn't help laughing. That's right, defecting to join? That's just to survive. They are nobles. How could they join a mere baron? This is absolutely impossible. As soon as winter is over, they will inevitably leave, and by then, their beautiful life will come back again, everything will be the same as before. However, he actually dares to deal with us like this. Should we just let it go? Then, someone suddenly said this, with a hint of coldness, resentment and anger in his tone. What can be done? The other person shook his head irritably and said. This guy is very powerful, especially those monsters, which are definitely level 5 monsters. With such a strong strength, even if we are tied together, we are no match for him. There's no way. Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day family feedback. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, September 29th to October 6th. Chapter 34. But is that all? Are we going to let him go like this? Impossible, the man before said with some reluctance. His face was very ferocious. Then, he couldn't help but look at the calm-looking Baron Kodak again and begged, Baron Kodak, please talk to me. I know you must have a way. You are the wisest among us. As soon as this statement came out, everyone seemed to resonate with it. They all nodded and started talking. That's right, Baron Kodak, what can you do? Tell me. He is simply humiliating and provoking us by doing this to us. I can't accept it if he doesn't come back with revenge. Baron Kodak, how about we go together and ask your father-in-law, Earl Hill, to come forward and help us give him a good warning? Lord Earl's power can definitely make him look good. That's right, let's go together and ask Lord Earl Hill. Help us get revenge and come back. But Baron Kodak just smiled, then shook his head. There is no need to bother Lord Earl Hill with such a small matter. Moreover, is it just a warning and a lesson? Are you satisfied with this? For him, this is not enough. Upon hearing this, everyone was stunned for a moment, and then someone quickly became surprised and asked, Baron Kodak, do you have any good ideas? Say it quickly, it's very simple. After we leave here, just publicize this matter, the specific situation and strength. Baron Kodak said with a smile. Then there was a hint of sarcasm and viciousness in his eyes, and he said coldly, how could a mere baron possess so much level 5 combat power? Don't you think this is very strange and problematic in itself? Maybe he is a spy enemy from another country, but not necessarily. Even if not, his powers will pose a huge threat to other nobles in the nearby area. So by then, haha, someone will naturally teach him a lesson on our behalf. Hearing this, the expressions on everyone's faces have become a little excited. Yes, he is just a baron. How can he have such a strong strength? There must be something wrong. Maybe he is really like that. Where are the spies and enemies from other countries? This is absolutely possible. In this case, someone will definitely kill him. However, Baron Kodak has not finished speaking yet. And more importantly, we all know what's going on the other side of the border. The defense line of Ream City Crates Mountains was almost penetrated. The Thunder Tiger Legion stationed there have also suffered heavy losses. The casualties are huge. In this case, there will only be two situations, either retreating the troops and ceding the territory, or recruiting troops support border. When he said this, he curled up the corner of his mouth, and then sneered directly and said, "You said that by then we will work together to find a way to get them to the border front. What will happen if this happens?" Level 5 snort. Let alone level 5, even if you go there at level 6, you will die easily. Isn't that enough? As soon as this was said, everyone immediately started cheering. That's right. You are right, Baron Kodak. Then send them to the frontline battlefield, let them die there. It's all because of that damn Baron Raymond's ignorance. This is a lesson he has earned. I can think of a way to do this. I am an old friend of Viscount Will in this area. He has great energy and is enough to do this. I can also try. I know Viscount Allen of the Allen family. If he is willing to help, there should be no problem. But this requires everyone to pay the price, which will definitely cost some money. No problem, I'll pay you 300 gold coins. I'll pay 500. Magic ore should also be possible, right? I still have some magic cores here. Can I get a level 4 one? In an instant, they all became excited and began to express their opinions, discussing how to take revenge and go back. It was as if they had seen the day when Raymond and the others died on the frontline battlefield on the border. But they didn't know it. At this moment, on the top of the roof of their house, a group of people had been quietly lurking for a long time. Look carefully, who are they if it's not Nagshin and the others? Hearing their cheers and the intense discussion of various revenge methods, Nagas, Shin and the others all had cold faces. There was a fierce light in their eyes that only appears when hunting and killing. These stupid damn things actually dare to plot against a lord? You are dead, Nagas murmured in a cold tone, and then he made a gesture to the other people at the bottom of the house. Then, they all started to act in a tacit understanding. At this time, in this house those who spoke inside were the little knights, merchants and nobles who had the right to speak, and outside the house and outside the manor, there were other vassals, those private armed guards. But they have now reached here. So just do it. The next moment, Nagas quietly opened a gap at the top of the house, and then the bow and arrow in his hand pointed at the gap from a distance, locking on a certain figure in it. His eyes were on it became colder and colder. Then, he just flicked his finger and shot an arrow instantly, and said coldly at the same time. Do it, plop. Almost instantly, as if a watermelon exploded, the head of Baron Kodak, who had a sneer on his face and seemed to have mastered everything, was directly exploded by an arrow. At the same time, boom, the door of the house was kicked open by someone else, which made everyone in the house feel numb and pale. Is Baron Kodak dead? What they just did and said were all killed. Did you find it? It's over now. Next, I saw the temple marksmen and temple archers stepping into it with bows and arrows in their hands. The leader Sheen glanced around sharply, and then he raised his hand and shot an arrow again, bang bang. 2 consecutive hits. He shot right through the heads of the 2 people who shouted the most joyful words on the spot. It was a headshot. And such a scene finally frightened them into losing their minds. Some people screamed hysterically and roared, we are nobles, you can't." Before he finished speaking, another arrow struck, hitting his head without any suspense. This brutal and cruel reality finally completely shattered the other people's psychological defenses. Bang, boom, boom. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. Then they all fell to their knees with tears and snot on their faces, begging frantically for mercy. Don't kill Don't kill me, please. I don't want to die. I have money. I have more than 400 gold coins. Please give them to me. I can spend money to buy my life. Don't kill me, please. Don't kill me. Everyone is really scared, suffocated, horrified, and desperate. How arrogant and condescending they were a second ago when they were discussing how to take revenge, but how miserable, humble and ridiculous they are now. In comparison, he looks like a clown. A complete clown. However, no one paid any attention to them. Do it, Xian raised his hand and said lightly. In the next moment, more than a dozen bows and arrows shot down, adding many more bloody corpses to the blood-stained house. Then someone asked Xian, do you want to go outside and take a look? The people who died in this house were all those barons, knights, merchants and small nobles, but there were still others outside. There were at least 3 digits of private armed guards in this house and manor. Since they all started killing people, they must be killed. It's best served in one pot, probably not needed anymore, but Xian still shook his head. Nagas and the others can see it outside, and Lord Owens and the others are also here. It's just some garbage, it can't escape. Sure enough, within a few minutes, Nags walked in with someone. Said calmly. Everyone outside has been dealt with, all dead, no one has escaped. Search carefully to see if there is anyone you missed. In addition, these guys should have some wealth and family assets hidden in this manor. Find them and give them to the Lord. These are our trophies, Sheen said. Then they all started to get busy again, and at the same time, although the movement on their side was very small, it was not completely unknown to anyone. In another manor house not far from here, through the snowy windows and the cold wind, Master Chris looked quietly in their direction, and then suddenly sighed. After a long time road, Baron Kodak and the others should be finished. Even the Griffin Legion has been dispatched. They can't survive at all. Isn't this normal? The Private Arms Prohibition Act, isn't this thing aimed at them? I think those guys didn't have good intentions from the beginning. Even I won't let them go, Conan Knight said with a calm face. It seems to be a matter of course. That's true, Master Chris shrugged, and then said with a smile, tomorrow I will disband our escort. This battle is too scary. I don't want to be like Baron Kodak and the others. As soon as he said this, the Conan Knight nodded unequivocally. Of course they also have their own private armed guards. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the two of them to support the hundreds of wounded people in exile long distance. Such a long time. As for disbanding them? It doesn't matter. As long as they sincerely join, this is actually acceptable, it's not a big deal. Early the next morning, at the Bryan family's castle, looking at the dazzling array of several boxes of gleaming treasure boxes displayed in front of him, even Raymond himself had his mouth wide open in surprise. There are so many? Nags, how many are there? Having killed someone last night, of course they will not forget their traditional project of ransacking the house. But the harvest from this house raid was far beyond his expectation. There are several big boxes full of things, isn't this right? Some are too much? Lord, there are a total of 2,341 gold coins, 71,833 silver coins, and more copper coins, about 5 to 6 million. In addition, there is a fighting spirit secret book, 3 combat skill secret books, a level 5 magic core, and a level 4 magic core 6, 31 level 3 magic cores, 55 level 2 magic cores, and 143 level 1 magic cores, Nags elaborated. No, so many. Lemon was completely surprised. This is too exaggerated. Is this a stab at the treasury? There are so many. It's really incredible. There are indeed so many. We checked twice and it was no problem. Nagus nodded. Raymond also became a little silent. Then he sighed. As expected of a blood-sucking noble, he is really rich. Yes, Matt German on the side also nodded, and then said, but after all, they don't even have a fief anymore. These should be all their savings, and there are so many people. More than 10, so it's normal to be able to find so many things, and this is now cheaper for us, ho ha ho ha. With these things, city construction, food consumption, etc. after the beginning of spring should be no problem. After conversion, this is almost more than 3,000 gold coins, right? It's too exaggerated. I have never seen so many gold coins in my life. These damn mothers are really vampires. Indeed, this is really a proper vampire. Raymond also nodded, and then asked again. Uncle Matt German, can these things be exchanged for level 6 magic cores? Matt German was stunned for a moment, and then he figured it out. If calculated according to the normal market price, The price of a level 6 magic core is about 7,000-8,000 gold coins. Even some unpopular and weak level 6 Warcraft cores, it should be at least 6,000. Lemon frowned slightly and said, "Is it so expensive?" "Yes," Matt German nodded and said. "Raymond, you also know that those level 6 monsters are even stronger than ordinary level 6 professionals. However, the status of these level 6 professionals is basically equivalent to that of the Count, so there is nothing we can do." Hearing this, Raymond nodded, because he did know this statement. In their nobility system of the Principality of Lane, generally a level 4 professional is equal to a baron, a level 5 professional is equal to a viscount, and a level 6 professional is equal to a viscount. A level 7 professional is equal to a count, and a level 7 professional is equal to a marquis. And as for level 8, it is basically on the same level as the duke with the highest title in the duchy. So, although the amount of several thousand gold coins is indeed a lot. However, if you compare these with a count, then to be honest, this is really not much. It is impossible for any count to have only these. It can be tens of thousands less, or hundreds of thousands more. This is not impossible. Thinking of this, Raymond could only shake his head. What a pity. It seems that his recruitment plan for the second Royal Griffin should be postponed again. Chapter 36. But at this moment, the Mount Gemin group suddenly smiled and said, "But don't worry, Lord Baron. With our current wealth, although we don't have much, if it's just a level 6 magic core, we should still be able to afford it, even if it's 2 pieces, maybe there's some possibility." Raymond was stunned for a moment and said in surprise, "Why? Don't we have that much money?" "No, but we can sell stuff, sell things." "That's right," Matt German smiled, then picked up the fighting spirit secrets and combat skills secrets in the box and said, "These cheats are at least level 3. The highest one can even reach level 5. Raymond, the value of level 5 cheats is very high. If you're lucky, you might be able to sell it for more than 1,500 gold coins. Counting these 4 books, we might be able to sell them for 2,000, and these magic cores. The market price of a level 5 magic core is about 800 gold coins and upwards, and the market price of a level 4 magic core is a little over 100 gold coins, so if you sell them all, you should be able to get 1,300 or 400 gold coins. In other words, these alone should be able to turn into at least 7,000 or more 8,000 gold coins, and we in Greystone Village still have 400 or 500 of our own money. If we add in your purple gold coin from Raymond, that's more than 10,000. Hearing this, Raymond immediately fell into trance. More than 10,000? Really or not? He squinted his eyes and did the math. In the end, he found out that it seemed that something was really going on. They were all sold. There should indeed be one. Over 10,000. If calculated based on the average price of a level 6 magic core of 7,000 gold coins, then 2 would be a bit of a stretch. What about 1? There must be absolutely no problem. Besides, suddenly, Matt German spoke again. "Lord Baron, don't forget, we have other things to sell." Raymond was stunned for a moment and asked quickly. "What? Those are the corpses of monsters." Matt German smiled and explained. "Although the most valuable part of a monster is indeed its magic core, but if it is a whole corpse except the magic core, its value is even higher than the magic core alone." Raymond was stunned again, then his eyes lit up and he became excited. "Uncle Matt German, you mean, that's right, it seems you have thought of it." Matt German nodded and said with a smile, "The corpses of the 2 fiery tigers and the shadow black snake king we brought back before looked miserable, but they could still be sold for money. They would have been lost by almost half, so, 4,000 5,000? We won't know until we sell them all, but there should be at least this much. In this case, the amount of gold coins we have now should be over 15,000. 15,000. Raymond was shocked in his heart, his eyes flickered, and his breathing became rapid. You must know that to him, these are not gold coins, but 2 living 3rd-level enhanced soldiers Royal Griffin. What if he can really increase his troops to Royal Griffin X3, then he must be invincible below level 7, and not too afraid of him above level 7. Don't forget, he himself is still level 6 now, and his strength is still there. More powerful than those Royal Griffins. As long as the opponent is not too strong, in a 4-1 situation, it is impossible to be crushed and slaughtered, right? Isn't that enough?" Thinking of this, he immediately made a decision. "Then sell it all to me. As long as he can get 2 level 6 magic cores, it will definitely be the most perfect result." This is what he wants. Uncle Matt German, you can arrange this, if possible, sell them all as soon as possible. I want to see the magic core as soon as possible. Raymond said yes, Lord Baron. But, I have another suggestion. Any suggestions, Raymond? Do you still remember those wind wolves in the Asuka Mountains? Matt German said softly. As soon as he said this, Raymond was stunned for a moment, and then he suddenly felt a little complicated. Those wind wolves in the Asuka Mountains? Of course he remembered, those were the ones who killed his original father and brother. The murderer, maybe because he has never gotten along with them or had any contact with them. Naturally, he cannot have deep feelings for that strange father and brother. But, is the murderer who killed them really? No matter what? This is of course impossible. In any case, he should really take care of this matter. Then he looked towards Matt German, lowered his head and said, "Sorry, Matt German uncle, I was negligent in this matter. I really should avenge them." Raymond, I don't mean to blame you, Matt German smiled and said, "For us now, this is a win-win situation. The size of those beastly wolves is huge, more than 100 and close to 200, and they also have a level 5 wolf king and several level 4 elite storm wolves. Kill them and bring back their corpses and magic cores. These can be sold for a lot of money, and more importantly, there is actually a big treasure hidden in the Asuka Mountains." Big treasure, what? Raymond said in surprise. Concentrated iron ore. Concentrated iron ore. Suddenly, Raymond's eyes widened and he was surprised. It's actually a mineral vein. If it's true, then this thing is really a big treasure. In this world, food is violence, and so are arms. Concentrated iron ore has always been there, all important materials for making only high-quality standard weapons. Once this thing is real, it will definitely be priceless. Yes, it is indeed concentrated iron ore, Matt German sighed and said softly, "Lehman, in fact, your father and I went there just for this iron mine. We originally planned to mine it secretly and earn as much as we could, but we didn't expect to run into those beastly wolves, and then an accident happened." Then he glanced at Raymond and said seriously, "You should understand that this matter is of great importance. Although I don't know how big the iron mine is, no matter how big or small it is definitely worth a lot of money. Next, we in Greystone Village need a source of income, and that iron ore mine will do the job. You need more and stronger magic cores, it can do that too. So, I think we should go check it out, and the best time is now, because only winter is the safest and least noticed. Then let's go straight away." Lemon didn't waste any words, he just nodded and said, "Nagus, go and gather the troops now. We need 100 Templar guards, 10 sharpshooters, and for griffins, just let the 3 of them go together, save the rest, just in case. Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day family feedback. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now." Activity time, September 29th to October 6th. Chapter 37. Why are there so many Templar garrison soldiers? Very simple, back meat. Even back concentrated iron ore. It's that simple. "Yes, Lord, I will go now." Nagus turned and left. Matt German also laughed at this time and said, "Lemon, if your father could see you like you are now, he would be very happy and proud, right?" "Ha ha ha, yes, I should." Lemang nodded, feeling a little complicated in his heart. After a while, the army was assembled, and then they headed straight towards the Finao mountain range in the eastern part of the territory. The Finao mountain range is said to be a mountain range, but in fact it is just a mountain range. It's just a small hill. There are absolutely countless such hills in the entire northern region. There are a lot of them. So it's no wonder that there is a fine iron mine hidden here. And it hasn't been given by anyone else yet. Discovered. It's also magical. When they headed this way, they saw something at the foot of the Asuka mountain range in the other direction. No, to be more precise, there should be a small army of more than 100 people. They also came here. If you look closely, they all have uniform armor and mounts. Under their feet was a powerful creature that was all brown and black, with a single horn on its forehead, and looked like a horse. This is the level 2 monster, brown wildebeest. Although this is only a level 2 monster, but this has actually become a standard mount for everyone? This is really surprising, and at this time, on the backs of these level 2 warcraft brown wildebeests are genuine low-level knights with level 2 strength. In other words, this is a 2+2 combination. Once a fight actually breaks out, I am afraid that few people below level 3 can defeat them, and more importantly, theirs is an army. The meaning of the army is that it can infinitely increase and magnify the strength of individuals. Therefore, their true strength will only be stronger. Therefore, there is no doubt. This is definitely a regular army. And he is definitely a very powerful, and should also be a regular soldier with a name. I just don't know where they come from. And why does it appear here? In addition, at this time, at the forefront of their ranks, there were several big shots and strong men who looked like they were obviously leaders. Among these people, some are magicians, maybe two, and some are warriors knight? Or is it another rare profession? About 4, that's 6 people in total. However, their mounts are obviously too flashy. Some are huge monsters covered in darkness that look like dire wolves. This is a level 4 monster, the shadow wolf. There is a big golden bird covered in green and yellow, shining with powerful magical power. This is also a level 4 monster, blue thunderbird. And the huge tiger, covered in red and burning with blazing flames. This is even an old acquaintance of Raymond and the others. Level 5 monster, fire tiger. In addition, there are also level 3 earth rolling wolf, red wind fox, and thunder-toothed giant snail king. Each of them has a different mount, but you can also see some differences from this. The guy with the fire tiger, he is definitely the most powerful. Then, the 2 guys whose mounts are Shadow Wolf and Blue Thunderbird should be inferior in strength. Then, there are the other 3 guys with level 3 Warcraft mounts. Joe Butt, is the iron ore you mentioned here, you sure? At this moment, someone spoke. It was the old guy riding the Shadow Wolf. This should be a mage. He was covered in large but luxurious mage robes. His long golden hair was fluttering in the wind, filled with a faint azure light. Obviously, this is a water magician. And he should be a level 5-1. Lord Brayton, yes, this is it. When I left here before, I had marked it, like this. The person riding that wolf was a bald warrior who looked to be in his 40s or 50. After hearing the words, he immediately nodded with great respect, and then saw him leaning over a big tree on the snow and wiping out a trace of an inconspicuous mark. Yes, well done, Mage Brayton nodded and said with an arrogant look. If the news is accurate and it is really a vein of concentrated iron ore, Joe Butt, then you will have made a great contribution. When the time comes, look forward to the reward from the Earl. Thank you Lord Brayton. Thank you Lord Brayton. Don't worry, I can swear on my life that it is definitely a vein of concentrated iron ore. What I saw beforehand also found the place, so, you can't go wrong with this. Snort, Mage Brayton snorted and said coldly and proudly. That's best. Okay, stop talking nonsense. Where is the place? Just go and check it out. Someone spoke again, and it was the guy riding the fiery tiger. He was wearing thick armor, sparkling, and filled with fluctuations of magical power. It was very amazing and dazzling. Obviously, this armor was of great origin. Definitely a valuable commodity. He looks to be almost 60 or 70 years old, with white hair, but he doesn't have the senility of an elderly person at all, but is full of momentum, and his whole person has a strong sense of oppression. And his name is Zhugulian. A very powerful level 6 sky warrior. And not only that, he also has another important identity, that is, one of the top big shots in their northern region. Under the command of Earl Gooden, his important right-hand man. The Earl and Earl are second only to the Duke and the Marquess, so they can definitely be regarded as the top brass of their Principality of Lane. There are only a dozen nobles of this level, even if you look at the entire northern region, at most. Becoming an important subordinate and right-hand man under their command shows that he is very powerful both in terms of his own strength and his background and identity. You can imagine what this concept is. And who are these people? What are their origins? Of course, it's easy to see that these people, they all come from Hanson City. They all come from the Lord and ruler of Hanson City, Earl Gooden. In fact, Hanson City is already a bit far away from here, almost at least it will take more than 10 days. Moreover, this nearby area is not within the sphere of influence of their Count Gooden, but belongs to the Ulland family. The Ulland family is one of the giants in the northern region. Here there are 2 earls, 6 viscounts, and dozens of barons in one family. It can be imagined that this is really a real behemoth, a giant. Therefore, it stands to reason that in order to avoid suspicion, they can't do it. There is no reason to show up here. Chapter 38. But they still came, and so many people came, even regular troops. Obviously there is only one reason, that is the iron ore vein. Obviously, not only Matt German knows about this, but they all also know about it. and it seems that the bald warrior named Kiabut discovered it. Seeing Zhugurlian speak, Master Brayton immediately shut up. At the same time, Jobut also immediately lowered his head and said respectfully, "Yes, Lord Zhugurlian. I will take you there now. The iron ore vein is in this mountain." How? As soon as he finished speaking, a long and cold roar suddenly came from the sky, and then a big bird covered in black and white, as tall as half a man, came flying in the wind at a very fast speed, and then landed there. Sitting on the blue thunderbird, on the arm of a man with short gray hair dressed as a hunter and archer. Woola wooloo. After the big black and white bird whispered for a while, he saw the face of the man with short gray hair change slightly. What happened? Zhugurlian asked. That's right, Lord Zhugurlian, there seems to be a little trouble. Uma nodded, her eyes twinkling. There is also a group of people on the other side of the mountain, at the foot of the mountain. They should be planning to enter the mountain, and there are quite a few people. They should be the same as us. There are more than 100. When they heard this, everyone's expressions changed, especially the old white-haired mage riding the red windfox, who seemed a little anxious and said quickly, "What, Uma, are you right? More than 100 people, this is the cold wave of winter in February, and ordinary level 1 trainees can't handle it at all. Do you want to tell us that it is also an army of level 2 professionals? What's the meaning? We were discovered by the Olin family. Why do the soldiers behind them all start at level 2? It's because it's February, the coldest season. As trainee level 1 professionals, they simply can't handle it. Level 1 is only for level 1. If the trainee is a warrior, then he doesn't even have fighting spirit. At least a level 2 low-level warrior is required to cultivate fighting spirit. The same goes for other professional systems. But the problem is that this level 2 army of more than 100 people, it's not something that just any ordinary noble can get. The most likely one is, of course, the strongest overlord in this area, the Olander family. Even if it's not them, it must be someone very powerful. Powerful Viscount. So what is going on? Is it really because their whereabouts have been discovered? Don't ask me such stupid questions, Klaus. Uma glanced at him and said calmly, I can tell you with certainty that it is absolutely true. It is indeed a team of more than 100 people. My pet will not be mistaken, but who are they? I have no idea, and their destination is the mountains. So, maybe they are also heading for the iron mine. As soon as these words came out, everyone's faces became even worse. Why did they come here so hard? Isn't it just for the iron ore vein? What if it was really pried away by others in advance? It's worse than killing them. No, this is absolutely not possible. Jobut, are you sure that you are the only one who knows about this vein of iron ore? Zhugurlian asked, looking towards Jobut. But the latter shook his head and said quickly, Lord Zhugurlian. Actually there was another group of people before me who discovered the iron ore vein first, and I only learned about this after following them. After a pause, he said with twinkling eyes again. As if falling into memories, they were 2 level 4 high-level knights, warriors, and some low-level trash, but I had already used a trick to lure a group of Gale Force wolves to hunt them down. Lord Zhugurlian, those Gale wolves are very powerful. Because their Gale Wolf King already has level 5 strength. And there are many other wolf packs too. More than 100, I think they should all be dead. After saying this, Zhugurlian didn't say anything, but the arrogant Master Brayton couldn't help but said angrily, all dead? So where did these people come from now? Didn't you know to tell such an important thing earlier? Do you want to die, Jobut? Yes, sorry Master Brayton, I actually told the Earl about this matter, but he seemed to think it was nothing, so Jobut smiled bitterly. What do you mean? You use the Earl to oppress me. Master Brayton is even more angry. Enough, Zhugurlian finally spoke, and said coldly, what's going on? Just go and take a look. Anyway, as long as Zuma's black striped birds are around, they can't find us. But, Lord Zhugurlian, what if that was really a member of the Olander family? Master Brayton asked what to do. Are you afraid, Brayton? If you're afraid, just get back here. I don't need you here, Zhugurlian said quickly. Master Brayton's face turned blue and purple, but he still did not dare to refute and get angry. In any case, since we are all here, this iron mine is definitely ours. No one can take it away. Moreover, what if it is the Olin family? If they want to die, let them do it, do you understand? Zhugurlian said coldly, full of murderous intent. Clear. Everyone looked at each other, and then they could only agree with a helpless smile. After all, Lord Zhugurlian is the leader of their trip, and he is also the strongest among them all, with a dignified level 6. Therefore, as long as the other party does anything, decided, they can only do it. There is no other way, but they don't know that their whereabouts and existence have been exposed long ago. After all, what is the flying unit? What can compare with the Griffin family, or even the Royal Griffin, which is a level 3 enhanced unit? Just that level 4 black-striped bird? Justin, that's still far behind. What did you say, Alderson? Besides us, is anyone else here? Hearing the information about Alderson, Raymond was a little surprised and said yes, Lord. Alderson nodded and said softly, just now we found a little guy in the sky staring at you, so I secretly followed him to have a look, and then I found that there was also a group of people on the other side of the mountain at the foot of the mountain, and their goal, it should also be inside this mountain, right? When he heard this, Raymond also squinted his eyes a little. His eyes flickered. Staring at us, Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day family feedback. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, September 29th to October 6th. Chapter 39. For the sake of caution, he did not let Alderson, Owens, Merc and the other Griffin clan go and act together with their large force. Instead, let them fly in the sky, observe at any time, and be on call at any time. The strength, stamina, endurance, and eyesight of the Griffin family are all excellent. So for them, long-distance flights are just normal, no big deal, and in this way, they can also be used as scouts. Observe and gather information at any time. At the same time, the breadth and height of the sky are very large and very high. As long as they fly a little higher, they can be completely hidden, undetected. But he didn't expect that they would actually discover the problem. Someone was watching them? Who is the one? Is this still the cold winter of February? It's so cold, and it's still at this time? This shouldn't be wrong, right? So he quickly asked Alderson, how many of them are there? How is the strength, Lord? There should be a total of 126 of those guys. 120 of them are only level 2. But they look like they are an army. They are all regular troops. The other 6 people are like their leaders, including 1 level 6, 2 level 5, and 3 level 4, Alderson said calmly. But his words shocked everyone. Level 6, Matt German's face changed drastically and he asked quickly, Mr. Alderson, is it really level 6? You sure? There's no mistake, it's indeed level 6. The strength and aura on his body can make me feel a little bit of danger, so he must be about the same strength as me, Alderson said without hesitation. Upon hearing this, Matt German suddenly smiled bitterly and said, Raymond, we are in trouble now. I'm afraid it's because the iron mine was discovered by others, and it's actually an army and a level 6 expert? Are they members of the Olander family? If that's really the case, it's going to be really bad. Raymond was stunned for a moment, and then asked Uncle Matt German, what are the Olanders? The Olander family is one of the strongest noble families in the northern region of the Principality of Lane. At the same time, they are also the private rulers of our region. Ruler, Raymond became even more surprised. Yes, Matt German nodded and explained, in our Principality of Lane, although the royal family is indeed dominant, in fact, the more realistic situation is that the major noble families and major forces dominate one side. Separate each other. For example, in our entire northern region, there are about a dozen counts and nobles. They are all very strong. The sphere of influence is also very large. At the same time, in their hands, they secretly control many small fiefdoms, even barons and viscounts, and they are the private rulers of our area. The Olander family. This is a very scary and huge family. Because there are 2 count nobles alone in addition, they also have 6 viscounts, dozens of barons, knights, nobles, etc. Hearing this, 3 big words appeared in Raymond's heart. That is the to emperor. That's right. Private ruler? Translated, this means that the mountains are high and the emperor is far away. A proper local emperor. But he still asked again Uncle Matt German, why them? Is it because of that level 6? That's right, Matt German nodded and said with twinkling eyes, in our area, and even in the entire northern region, there are only so many nobles and family forces that can possess level 6 professionals, especially here, most likely. They are the only ones. After a pause, he said with a serious face again, Lehman, if it's really them, it would be troublesome. The Olander family is very powerful. I'm afraid we can't afford to offend them. However, Raymond just smiled and said calmly, "Trouble? Uncle Matt German, if you get rid of them, won't it stop trouble? Get rid of them?" Matt German was stunned for a moment, and was about to continue saying something, but he was interrupted by Raymond. "Uncle Matt German, Alderson said that they have discovered us, and there is a high probability that they still don't know about the existence of Alderson, Owens, and Merc, so, if they are really here to make concentrated iron ore, it is you, Uncle Matt German. What would you do?" Matt German was stunned for a moment, and then smiled bitterly. "Yes, what can be done? They must kill them all. And they must eradicate the roots. In this way, won't you be able to monopolize the iron ore vein? As the main material for the standard weapons of elite troops, the value of this concentrated iron ore vein is absolutely self-evident and absolutely priceless. Under normal circumstances, even the smallest small-scale concentrated iron ore is worth at least a few tens of thousands of gold coins, right? Moreover, if you are more lucky, medium size, large size, super large size, by then, let alone tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of gold coins will not be impossible. Who would give up such a big meat? It's impossible for the other party. It's also impossible for them. So, from the moment they discovered each other, everything was already doomed. They had a mutual relationship with each other, there must be a fight. And it will most likely have to be fought to death." Then he could only smile and shake his head, saying no more. At this time, it was Raymond who laughed again and patted Matt German on the shoulder. "Uncle Matt German, relax and stop stressing. It doesn't matter who they are, because you have to know that we are no longer who we were before, and we are no longer the weaklings we were before, we are strong now. Isn't it?" Moreover, Raymond curled his lips and said disdainfully, "Besides, it's just a level 6 guy, just one, wouldn't it be better to just kill him? Alderson, am I right?" "That's right." Alderson nodded immediately and said without hesitation, "Lord, please give him to me and I will deal with him, although they are all level 6, and he is a griffin from the temple castle. In this world, he is a genuine level 6 warcraft. At the same level, warcraft is the most powerful, greater than all others. Species, this is common sense, so even if it is level 6, it really doesn't matter to him. Just fight. He will win anyway." Chapter 40. Ho ha ho ha, that's right, Matt German also laughed. "Yes, they are no longer weak. Even he himself is now a dignified level 5 Earth Knight. They are not weak. They are very strong. So the fight is over. No matter who he is, as long as he dares to block their way, everyone will die. It's that simple. Let's go directly to the mineral vein and deal with them right there." "Set off," Raymond ordered confidently and confidently. Boom. "Yes. Lord, kill them, must win. Must win." Cheers broke out, and everyone headed towards the depths of the Asuka Mountains. Not long after, their destination had arrived. This was a place located in the middle of a stream deep in the Asuka Mountains. The water flow here was not too strong. It's shallow enough to cover your waist, and you can't see anything strange at all from a distance, but this is where the iron ore vein is located. "Underwater?" Raymond asked. "That's right, Lord Baron, it's underwater," Matt German nodded, and then he went down directly along the edge of the stream. Then he saw him pick up a large piece of ore from the bottom of the stream. The shell was covered with soil, but it was very thin. The material inside can be known at a glance. It is definitely refined iron. And it is high-quality refined iron with very high quality and purity. So this is indeed the refined iron ore vein, what they want, right here. "Uncle Matt German, can you tell me the approximate size and reserves of this mine?" Raymond asked with some expectation. He has already known the value of this iron ore vein. The guaranteed income is at least tens of thousands of gold coins. If there is a medium-sized or even large-sized vein, it will definitely be 6 digits as expected. "That's great. What's the concept of 6-digit gold coins?" "A level 6 magic core is probably worth 7,000 or 8,000, but what's the market price of a level 7 magic core? It's about 100,000 gold coins. 6 figures. In other words, if he does it right, he might even be able to rely on this vein of refined iron ore to recruit his first level 4 ordinary soldier, the Templar swordsman. This is definitely a feat. A huge deal. Because gold coins are just that much no matter how much they are. He is not very interested in them, but if they can be converted into combat power, the nature will be different. As long as the temple monk comes out, let alone a mere vein of concentrated iron ore, so what if there are 10 or 100? he can easily find it back. This is the value of strength. Only with strength can you be qualified to have other anything, otherwise, just a pig. Lamb to the slaughter, I'm afraid not, my lord. German shook his head and said. This concentrated iron ore vein is almost entirely buried in the stream. We can only cut off this stream when the time comes, and then find a way to find professionals to detect the specific size of this ore vein. But what? Raymond asked. However, I have also come across some knowledge about exploring mineral veins before. Although I am not sure, I feel that the scale of this mine is not like a small mine. They should all start at least medium-sized. German's eyes flashed. And as soon as he said this, Raymond couldn't help but laugh. Starting from a medium-sized mine? He understands this. Isn't it just the estimated income of 100,000 gold coins? Well done. Beautiful. Ho ha ho ha. Lord, they seem to be coming, but at this moment, Nagus's voice suddenly came. Which also made the faces of Raymond and Gemin darken. But it finally came. I thought they would tolerate it for a while, Raymond murmured, and then looked in the direction where Nagus and the others were fixated. He saw that there happened to be a breakthrough on higher ground. Standing on it, not only could he have a commanding view of the, and from a combat military perspective, it is definitely an advantageous position. Because if we could use magic and attack from a distance, wouldn't we have a huge advantage? Thinking of this, German quickly said, Raymond, we can't let them stand there, they have a magician. Raymond also nodded, but did not act immediately, but waited quietly. Not long after, a strong rumble of marching came, which seemed to be the sound of many large troops. After about a minute or two, a large number of cavalry appeared on the top of the hillside, and even it's the traces of Zugilian and the others, but as soon as they came up, they also discovered something was wrong. Is this really a member of the Olander family? Why don't I recognize anyone? And the strength of these garrison soldiers is so strong, are they still elite? Zugilian murmured. As an old man of his age, of course he has impressions of many people in the Olander family, many strong men, and even many armies, and he is even familiar with some of them. What about now? This is very wrong. Not only does he not know any of these people, he has never even seen the elite soldiers in front of him. What is going on? However, right now at this time, Joe Butt behind him suddenly shrank his pupils and stared at Gemin in shock. Impossible, he is really not dead, ! Hearing this voice, Chocolate's eyes flashed and he said, Joe Butt, do you know him? Kyabut paused for a moment, then smiled bitterly. Lord Zugilian, one of the 2 level 4 senior knights I mentioned before is him. Damn it, I didn't expect him to actually run away. Sorry, this is my fault, I'm sorry. Zugilian nodded after hearing this, and then didn't say anything. Instead, he began to carefully observe the lineup and strength of Raymond and the others. But at this time they were observing Raymond and the others, and Raymond and the others were also observing them. These guys look quite majestic. They all have mounts, are they all cavalry? Raymond murmured. The opponent is a cavalry, they are the temple's garrison. If the number is about the same, it must be their side that is at a disadvantage. But it doesn't matter. If it really comes to a fight, it will definitely not be level 2 like them. Cannon fodder can determine the outcome. In a battle of this level, their existence is really just cannon fodder. They look like bastards. At the same time, German was also staring at him with a frown. That Zugilian seems to have thought of something. Uncle German, do you know him? Is this a member of the Olander family? Raymond asked. Chapter 41. It does not seem. German shook his head and looked a little weird. Raymond, I'm not sure, but that level 6 guy wearing armor. He seems to be the ruler of Hansen City in the east, the level 6 strongman Zugilian under Count Guten. Count Guten? Who is this? Raymond said in surprise. This is a very powerful earl. His strength and power can rank among the top 3 in our northern region. And his territory is right next to the Olander family. If it weren't for the fact that the Olander family had 2 counts and 6 viscounts, they might not necessarily be better than him, German explains. Then he murmured with some doubts on his face, but why are they from them? Hansen City is at least 10 days away from us, which is quite far, and for such a large-scale operation, didn't they notice the nobles along the way or the Olander family? Unbelievable, but when he heard this, Raymond felt a little happy. He was not from the Olander family? This is good news for him. After all, the other party must have come secretly. In this way, There will be no reinforcements and no follow-up pressure, so this can completely give them a chance. Just kill them all at once and that's it. At the same time, want to talk to them? Lord Zugillian, Master Claus asked in a low voice. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Master Brayton sneered and said mockingly, "What are you talking about? Do we still need to talk to them about the ownership of this iron or mine? Can't you see this clearly? 1 level 5, 11 level 4, 100 level 2. Although these guys look quite elite, so what? Just kill them. I think there's nothing to talk about with them." Obviously, he recognized Raymond as level 4. And this already looks very much like Raymond. He is so young, and having level 4 is already a super genius. If it is higher, it will definitely be impossible. It's not like this things. Then he said, since they are really concentrated iron ore veins, we must take them down. Moreover, these people cannot be kept. They are all killed to avoid bad things. As soon as these words came out, everyone's eyes focused on Zugillian's face. They all began to wait for their final choice. And most of them really felt that there was nothing to talk about. First of all, there is no way they can let that iron mine go. Secondly, these people are just a lot of people, and their high-end combat power is not that powerful. In this case, as long as they are willing, they can kill. They can all be solved. Then they saw that there is also some dangerous cruelty in Zugillian's eyes. Because yes, he thinks so too. There is really nothing to talk about. Wouldn't it be better to just kill all of these people? Then he narrowed his eyes and said coldly, Brayton, Klaus, do it, do it? What do you know? Of course it's magic. It's condescending and the location is great, so it only requires magic. This is also a good location they can choose. Good. I saw Master Brayton sneer cruelly, and then saw him raising the magic staff in his hand and chanting something. At the same time, so was the Master Klaus next to him. Boom. Boom. A large number of particles of magical elemental power began to gather, forming a surging prototype of magical power in the sky. One of them is a water magician, the other is a senior wind magician, one is level 5, and the other is level 4. Although there are few people, magicians have never been about more people than fewer people. As magicians, their magical power bombardment ability has always been the strongest. After seeing this scene, Matt German also took a deep breath, and said quickly, Lord Baron. Raymond raised his hand, made a gesture, and then gave the order directly. Let's do it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At that moment, a total of 20 arrows flashing with cold light shot towards the two mages on the hillside with lightning speed. However, Zugillian took action himself, and a giant sword energy directly shot at them. Break everything. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Uma, Joe Butt, Osik, these guys' bows and arrows are very accurate and powerful. You should protect Brayton and the others here. Leave the rest to me, Zugillian said coldly, and then he suddenly jumped down from the hillside and went straight towards Raymond and the others. He seemed to be planning to challenge them all. But after seeing this scene, Raymond and Matt German couldn't help laughing. When the old man came down, didn't it mean that those guys on the hillside were no longer at level 6? Phew. 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 In the next moment, Raymond didn't even need to give an order. Alderson, Owens, and Merc, who were hiding in another direction, were already fluttering their wings and turning into a flying star at a very fast speed. And after him it rushed towards the enemy on the hillside. What is this? No, Warcraft. Is that Warcraft? Hiss, is that a level 6 monster? How is it possible? This is impossible, it's over. How could a level 6 monster appear here? Lord Zugillian, save us. All this sudden incident directly caused Master Brayton and the others on the hillside to collapse, because Alderson and the others appeared from there, then flew over quickly and landed on their hillside. In fact, it only takes a few seconds. And what are these few seconds enough for? Of course it was enough for Alderson and Owens to easily break or even break it. That's summoning the heads of the two magicians. Boom, boom. Two muffled sounds erupted, and the originally brutal and arrogant Master Brayton and the Master Klaus were transformed into two headless corpses, and blood rolled violently from the hillside. And who killed them? Of course, no matter how fast it is, Alderson will bear the brunt. What magician? Is this the magician? Although their group attack and long-range bombardment capabilities are indeed very strong. However, their fatal flaw is also huge, that is, their fragile bodies. Huge disadvantage in close quarters. Once they get close, they will encounter great danger, even death. So, they were only level 5 and level 4, and they were caught off guard. It was really easy for Alderson to kill them. It's completely a matter of one paw at a time. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. Roar, roar, rumble, rumble, rumble. At the same time, I saw Ovens and Merc coming down, roaring and roaring towards the other people. As for Alderson, after achieving a double kill, he immediately fluttered his wings and flew high, wanting to swoop down and kill Hugurlian at the foot of the hillside. But he was stopped by Raymond. Alderson, you go kill the others and don't let any of them escape. Leave this person to me, Raymond shouted, then walked directly towards the Hugurlian, and sneered. Old guy, let me play with you. Boom. The surging holy light fighting energy burst out from his body. At that moment, Hugurlian, who was already pale and his scalp was numb, his pupils shrank. His face changed drastically. You are also level 6? This is impossible. Raymond is actually level 6? That terrifying monster on the hillside is also level 6. If he had known that this would be the case, he would never have come. He would have run away immediately. But there is no regret in the world. They all asked for it. Impossible? Don't you know if you try it? Li Meng sneered, and then he drew out the sword of light seal from his waist and rushed towards Hugurlian. Bang! He slashed with his sword, but was blocked by Hugurlian with his sword. But even so, he actually took 2 steps back. In other words, his strength was not as good as Raymond. This is impossible. Are you really level 6? How could your strength be so strong? How old are you? This is impossible. Hugurlian's mentality just collapsed. It's okay if things develop like this, but he is not even his opponent. This is a big blow to him. He is as dignified as Hugurlian, and he has dozens of dignitaries. Years-old veteran, a strong level 6 sky warrior. How could he not be able to defeat a child? How could this be possible? However, the reality is like this, poof, with his system cheating, Raymond's holy light sword technique was almost perfect. It took almost 3 strokes and 5 divided by 2 to make Chocolatin, who was already panicked and whose system collapsed, be penetrated. The bloody hole. The fighting spirit of the fierce wind, the roar of the wind, Hugurlian roared angrily, and terrifying power erupted from his body, transforming into fighting spirit and sweeping in from the giant sword in his hand. Holy light sword technique, holy light slash. Li Meng did not retreat, he just swung his sword and slashed out. Suddenly, a huge sword energy of at least 10 meters flew directly towards the front and slammed into the front. Boom, rumble, 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 the ground trembled, and this terrifying sword energy dragged a long trace on the ground. Then it easily shattered Hugurlian's fighting spirit, and then bombarded him violently and quickly. Boom, a loud noise erupted, and the power of the holy light shot out directly. It was extremely dazzling and terrifying. And under the dazzling power of the holy light, Hugurlian's body flew directly backwards and hit the bottom of the hillside hard. Then there was a loud rumble. The entire hillside actually began to collapse. Gulumat German swallowed, gasped, his face was full of shock. Okay, so strong, that's right, isn't this too strong? In his opinion, although he knows that Raymond should be very strong with his current strength. However, no matter what, Hugurlian is indeed a genuine veteran level 6 sky warrior. A strong man. Just like this, he can be beaten like this? Is this gap too big? How can there be such a big gap in strength between them? Isn't this too exaggerated? At this time, Raymond, he also looked at the sword of light seal in his hand, and began to think thoughtfully. This thing can actually increase the power of my holy light fighting spirit. It turns out that it's not that he is really that strong, but that under the amplification of the light seal sword, his holy light Dao Qi has become stronger. His own strength is stronger than that of Hugurlian, plus this light seal. With the increase of the sword, such an ending is naturally natural. It is indeed a product produced by the system, it is really a high-quality product. Raymond sighed with emotion, and then walked towards the bottom of the collapsed hillside where the rocks were piled up. He opened the ruins and took a look. Sure enough, he was not dead. But he had fainted. It was obvious that he was the one he had before. Dao Holy Light Slash is so uncomfortable. I didn't even use up all the power. I was already dizzy. You can imagine how powerful this and that are. It's absolutely ridiculously strong. Is this guy going to be killed? Looking at the fainted Zhugilian, he became a little entangled. Of course, it wasn't that he couldn't be cruel. The Holy Mother didn't dare to kill anyone. He had killed more than 100 others, so this one was really the best, but that he was thinking about what he could do. Can't you find more value from this guy? For example, use this threat to get a fortune from the so-called Earl Guden? Don't forget that when he first made his fortune, he started by knocking sticks. If it weren't for Will with the full support of Viscount, the big brother on the list, he may not be able to develop such strength now. So, can he still try this time? Raymond, don't you want to kill him? German came forward and asked. I'm wondering if I can exchange him for some benefits from Count Naguten. Raymond was also very honest, and then he kicked Zhugilian again and said calmly, okay, stop pretending. Do you think you can hide it from me? Tell me, how are you going to buy your life? German was stunned for a moment, and then stared at the fainting chocolate in disbelief. Is this actually a show? Cough, cough, cough. The next moment, the latter coughed a few times, then opened his eyes, stared at Raymond for a long time, and then said extremely weakly, let me go, I'm willing to buy my life for 10,000 gold coins. Raymond sneered and said coldly, if you really want to die, I can make it happen for you. Now you can. Zhugilian smiled bitterly, then sighed, the maximum value is 50,000 gold coins. My value is only so much? If it exceeds this, even if you threaten Count Guden with me, it is impossible. Even though I am level 6, there are far more level 6s than me under his command. 50,000? No, 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 let's do this. A level 7 magic core. Give me a level 7 magic core, and I will let you go. Raymond shook his head, revealing his fox tail. Level 7 magic core? Are you crazy? Zhugilian's eyes widened and he said angrily, impossible. Do you know how much a level 7 magic core is worth? It's more than 100,000 yuan. And it's still priceless but not available. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day family feedback. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, September 29th to October 6th. Chapter 43. What if we add this vein of concentrated iron ore? Lemon smiled and began to be persuasive. He smiled like Grandma Wolf and said, we have completed the exploration of this concentrated iron ore vein, starting from medium size. It is even very likely that it is a large-scale iron ore mine, and now, I can sell it to you. Sell to us? Zhugilian was stunned and looked at Raymond in disbelief. He didn't know what he had in mind. Yes, I can sell it to you. What do you think about your life, plus this refined iron ore, which is sold at a very cheap price and only requires 2 level 7 magic cores? You have to know that your life is yours to survive, otherwise there will be nothing. Moreover, will you not be able to earn even 100,000 gold coins in the next few years? Even if it's borrowed, right? You are a level 6 strong man, you absolutely can, Raymond said with a smile. That made Gemin and even Zhugilian look confused. Still, can it be like this? God can borrow it. This is also okay. But this time Zhugilian. He chose silence. Because of the current threat of death, he was indeed persuaded. If he died, there would be nothing. But as long as he lives, he can enjoy more. As for borrowing? If he is willing to do this, the Earl will also agree, right? Such an idea appeared in his mind. It also made him completely silent. Because he was shaken, and he was also afraid of death. He didn't want to die. Bang! 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 At this moment, Alderson, Owens, and Mergal descended and landed behind Raymond. Lord, we have dealt with them all and killed them all. Not a single one was spared. Alderson said calmly. Well done to you all. Raymond smiled and nodded, then looked at the chocolate and said with a smile, next, I will give you time to think about it carefully. Life or death, it's up to you, but still the same sentence. Isn't it good to live, and you were the first to attack us? You did something wrong and you have to pay a price. This is normal, isn't it? After he finished speaking, he ignored Zhugilian, but looked at Alderson and said, Alderson, this guy will be left to you. Watch him carefully, don't hurt him, and don't let him run away. After all, he is a rich man. Ha 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 ha, I understand, Lord, please leave it to me. Alden nodded immediately, and then looked sharply at the chocolate man, who trembled all over, and then also smiled bitterly. Don't worry, I'm very obedient." As soon as he said this, Raymond immediately laughed, because he knew that the other party was shaken. In this case, his plan might have been half successful. The 7th level magic core, if only it could be obtained so easily, that was of course the best. But just in case, he suddenly stretched out his hand and swung his sword. Without any warning, he gave Zhuge a blow with his sword. Poof! The blood flowed violently. Zhuge almost knelt down on the spot because a large piece of meat was cut off from the thigh. This is a necessary measure, so you should think about it carefully. Raymond smiled. Although Zhuge was in pain, he could only smile bitterly and be speechless, because he understood that this was indeed a necessary measure, and it would have been the same if it had been him. Otherwise, he would have died. Next, they searched the corpses of the army and took away all the valuable things. Then they cut off the upper stream of the stream, hoping to carefully and accurately explore this fine iron building. The size of the mine. But there are no professionals among them, and in the end they can only come to a rough conclusion, that is, this should be a medium-sized concentrated iron mine. If it can be fully mined, 100,000 gold coins will definitely be stable. If luck is a little better, it will be more than 150,000. Maybe it is possible. After figuring this out, Raymond and the others set out to leave here again and kill the other target of their trip, the Windwolves. Of course, there was no suspense in the next battle. In order to take revenge, Raymond had to challenge all the Windwolves alone. Then he killed them all. In the end, they harvested 100. There were many corpses of the Gale Wolves, as well as level 5 magic cores Greystone Village. And in the process, the cold wave of February finally began to slowly subside. More than 10 days later, Greystone Village, the castle of the Bryan family, outside a cage. Raymond looked indifferent. Zhuge looked at the cage and said, "Have you thought about it? The cold wave in February is coming to an end. If you haven't decided yet, then I can only make the decision for you." Zhuge looked at him feebly. After being hungry for so many days, even an Iron Man can't bear it now. You only want magic core? Isn't it okay for level 6? Even level 6 magic cores are strategic resources. Level 7 magic cores are basically in the hands of great nobles and royal families. It's really hard. He seems to still want to fight for it? That's right, I just want the magic core. And I only want level 7 magic core, understand? Lemon shook his head directly. Why? Zhuge sighed, then lowered his head and said, "Give me a pen and paper." "Isn't that what it is?" Raymond smiled and handed him the paper and pen next to the cage. His smile began to brighten. "Isn't this right? Isn't it good to be alive? It's not your money, so what can you save him? Besides, I am willing to give up the iron ore to you. You're not at a loss either. Isn't it? Isn't it his money?" Zhuge had a wry smile on his face and didn't even bother to refute. "Whose money is this if it's not his? Don't you need to borrow it? Damn it." Soon, a clear handwritten letter came out. Then he saw Zhuge take off a rather strange half-piece of jade from his body and handed it to Raymond. "Send the letter along with this thing. I'm tired, please leave me alone. Besides, what else?" Raymond said in surprise. Zhuge looked at him with an aggrieved face and turned red. After a while, he sighed and said, "I'm hungry, give me some food. I'm your rich man now, do you want to starve me to death?" Raymond was stunned for a moment, and then he burst out laughing. "Ha ha, ha 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 ha. Okay, no problem, don't worry, you'll have enough to eat. As much as you want. Ha 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 ha." Chapter 44. Amid Raymond's loud laughter, the chill of February's cold wave finally dissipated completely, and then came the transition period of half a month, the winter withdrawal period. As long as this half-month period of winter retreat is over, the early spring will come when everything revives. By then, everything will be different. Early the next morning, the two teams set off together and left Greystone Village, but they then left in different directions. One of them is heading towards Duke City, and the other is of course heading towards Hanson City. I went to Duke City to sell resources, buy magic cores, food, and other various resources. Because this time the primary target is the level 6 magic core, so, only Duke City has the best hope. As one of the few giant cities in the entire northern region, Duke City can definitely be ranked in the top 3 in terms of prosperity and size. So this is definitely the first choice. Moreover, if there is no one over there in Duke City, I'm afraid we can only go to the Imperial City. As for Hanson City, of course it goes without saying, Of course it's to beat people up and blackmail them. As for why you chose this time point? Why not after early spring? It's actually very simple. The cold wave ends in February, and the temperature on the Earth will begin to warm up sharply. Although it will still be bitingly cold and snowy, it will only be more than 10 or 20 degrees below zero at most. This temperature is considered cold, but not too cold. And this, even for ordinary people, is not that uncomfortable, let alone other powerful professionals who have fighting spirit and magical power. Generally, during this period, the silence and tranquility on the Earth, even the desolation, will begin to change. Gradually it became lively. At the same time, people will also start to go out for activities. Let this Earth begin to come alive. Therefore, this eastward retreat period is said to be winter retreat, but in fact it is already a precursor to the arrival of early spring. That's it. North of Greystone Village lies the middle section of the West River in Longton, Bitton City. Today, outside Bitton City, although it is still covered with large tracts of white snow, the vast expanse of white, but now, a large area outside the city has been swept out. And here, many people have already gathered here. If you look closely, you will see that this is a well-equipped team with a large number of people. At the same time, the momentum and military strength of the army are pretty good. There are more than 300 of them, with a variety of weapons, including long swords, giant swords, knives, axes, guns, bows and arrows, clubs, etc. But there are signs of rust, even cracks and damage. At the same time, their defensive armor, equipment, etc. are also very diverse. Leather armor, light armor, heavy medium armor and so on. All of these are available. But it is obviously a bit shabby and seems to be very old. But even so, such an army lineup with a large number of people, complete equipment, and decent momentum and military strength is definitely a very powerful combat force. And so it is. They are the level 5 powerhouses of Bitton City. The war army personally selected by Earth Jockey Evan. The total population of Bitton City is more than 30,000. Among them, the total number of standing soldiers is more than 1,000. If you are elite, cut it in half on this basis. That is more than 500 and 600. In other words, there is an army of more than 300 people in front of us. They are already more than half of the elite forces in Bitton City. One can imagine how determined they are this time. Another thing worth mentioning is, among them, the lowest level is level 1 professionals. There is no ordinary person. If it's high, level 2 or 3, even level 4 or 5, these are all available. You can imagine what this concept is. The cold wave ended in February. Knight Evan, Viscount Will and the others, they all couldn't wait to take revenge. I want to take revenge. Just today, they are preparing an army and are about to go to war. We are about to attack Greystone Village. Evan, my dear son, you are my greatest pride. He is also the brightest and strongest person in Bitton City. I'll leave the rest to you. Don't worry, I'll be here waiting for your triumphant return, and you are also Dorrance, so you can rest assured. When you return in triumph, I will definitely reward you well. Ha 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 ha, Viscount Will said confidently. This is not just because his son Evan Knight is a level 5 Earth Jockey. What's more important is that this winter, another of his capable subordinates, Dorrance, has also made a successful breakthrough and successfully become a level 5 Earth Warrior. In other words, the next offensive expedition will be a battle led by 2 level 5 powerhouses and a total of 300 elite troops. So is this still a loss? Ha 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 ha. That is absolutely impossible. Next, it will definitely be a crushing. That damn stupid idiot Barren will be their death. Father, don't worry, this is a simple task. Both me and Dorrance can handle it easily, right Dorrance? Evan Knight smiled with a confident face, and at the same time looked at the purple armored warrior beside him. Ha 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 ha, the latter also laughed loudly, his face became ferocious. Don't worry, Viscount Will. He's just a good-for-nothing baron. He's looking for death, so we can help him. I will personally cut off his head and place it in front of you to show my strength. Please believe me, this is too simple for me and Knight Evan. No difficulty at all, you are right Dorrance, ho ha ho ha. Of course I thank you, you are my most trusted and important sons and subordinates. Viscount Will laughed, and then suddenly lowered his voice, and smiled with a vague expression on his face. The West River in Longton has begun to thaw, and trade lines will gradually resume. I have already reserved a group of awoke maids at the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce in advance. Believe me, They are all top quality. Ha ha ha, these are what I have prepared for you. When you return in triumph, they will all be yours. Looking forward to it, Evan Dorrance, Orc Maid. Thank you, Lord Viscount. Thank you, Lord Viscount. Ha ha ha. Dorrance was stunned for a moment, then immediately became excited. With excitement on his face, of course he knew that geographically speaking, the Principality of Leen belonged to the southeastern part of Luoman continent. The surrounding areas are almost all human countries, so the Orc Maid is definitely an extremely rare and valuable commodity. What's more, this can be regarded as a symbol of their ability to show off their status as small nobles and strong men. So of course this is a reward, or gift, that he wants and likes very much. As for how to come to Longton West River, thank you for the reward, brother. And thank you to my friends for the monthly flower ticket reviews. Thank you for the Chapter 45. Come to the Longton West River. It is a medium to large river that spans several countries in the southeastern part of Luoman continent. It has numerous branches in a huge area. It is also a priceless gold line for trade. Countless commodities of all kinds pass through this river and were circulated and resold in various countries on both sides of the river, creating a large amount of value and wealth. Therefore, generally, the noble families who can control the power of the city on the west bank of Longton River are definitely extremely rich. I have already made a lot of money. Of course they are the same in Bitan City. Why do they dare to send troops to attack other territories in Gizhou? Why do they have such elite soldiers and population? In fact, it's all because of this. Their confidence and foundation is this Longton West River. Father, I heard that snake women and cat women orcs taste delicious. Let's try it together then, shall we? Ha 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 ha. At this time, the Evan Knight also laughed. His handsome face also became evil and lewd. Orcs? Of course he had tasted it more than once, so of course he wanted it more. Ha 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 ha. No problem, no problem. When you come back, leave everything to me. Viscount will also laughed. Set off. Evan Knight waved his hand and led his troops directly to set off. The distance between Bitan City and Greystone Village is actually not far. It is only 3 or 4 days' journey. Even in winter, it can take up to 5 days. So for him, this expectation can become a reality in 10 days at most. Then it is better to set off as soon as possible and go back early. Ho ha ho ha. 4 days later, on the streets of Greystone Village, Raymond was wandering around on this road. It won't work here. The planning is terrible. The health system must also be changed. Open excretion is so disgusting, Raymond murmured. Winter is coming to an end, and his big infrastructure project has to be put on the agenda. After all, he really can't stand the dirty, messy environment like this slum. Moreover, the city planning, road traffic, and even the first ring, second ring, third ring, etc. in his previous life are all in his heart, and he can completely copy them. At that point, I wouldn't say they were exactly the same, but he would be very satisfied with a 40-50% similarity. Anyway, no matter how bad it is, it will definitely be much better than now. At this time, his appearance also caused commotion among some people along the way. Look, that's our Lord of Greystone Village, right, that's right. It's really him. That's the Lord, Baron Raymond. It's him who distributes mutres and sells us grain at a fair price. No one in our family died this year, and it's all thanks to the Lord. He is really a good person. Me too, me too. In previous years, as long as I was unlucky, I would starve to death or freeze to death, but this year we are having a great time, with food and meat to eat, and it's also Warcraft meat. This is all thanks to the Lord's kindness to us. How about we go and thank the Lord? However, the Lord is a noble and we are commoners. Wouldn't he mind talking to us? The Lord is different from other nobles. I believe in him. As he was talking, a figure suddenly ran out from the corner of the street, came to Raymond very nervously, then raised his hands and said nervously, "Leader, hello, Lord, this is the meat we have just prepared. It is still very hot. Would you like to try it?" It was a boy, about 14 or 15 years old. He looked very thin, but he was full of energy and had a high-spirited life. On his raised hands, there was a big roasted piece of meat. And this portion is also a lot. Probably more than the portion of meat they give out every time. So Raymond couldn't help but smile, and at the same time stretched out his hand, divided the piece of meat into 2 halves, and then said with a smile, "Let's eat together. Also, don't be so nervous, I don't eat people, As he spoke, he took one of the pieces and started to eat it. The boy was stunned for a moment, and then immediately became excited. He quickly took the other piece of meat and said excitedly, "Lord, thank you. You saved us. If it weren't for you, my mother would have starved to death. You are the best Lord I have ever seen." "Really, thank you very much. May I have your name?" Lemon asked with a smile. "Alderman," the boy said quickly. "Lord, my name is Alderman. Are you from other places?" "Yes," Alderman nodded and said darkly. "We originally lived in a cliff city near the border, but the army of Dick Kingdom broke through our country's border, and the entire city fled. Forced to wander here, and on the way, my father and my grandfather all died, but my mother and I survived. If it weren't for you, Lord, we would have died too, so, thank you very much, Pa. Pa." Raymond stretched out his hand and patted his shoulder, and said with a smile, "Then you really should thank me, but this is what happened in the past. From now on, you can only rely on yourself. Exercise more, your body is in terrible shape. Soon I will reopen the selection of escorts, patrols, and even armies, and I hope to see you join by then." Odoman was stunned for a moment, and then his eyes turned red immediately, and he became excited instantly. "I am willing to serve you, dear Lord." Raymond smiled again and patted his shoulder, then waved and left. Gone. Looking at Raymond's back, Alderman's eyes were red, his fists were clenched, and his whole body was trembling, as if he had made a lot of determination. Not only him, but everyone else along the way who heard what Raymond said seemed to be touched, with complex and excited expressions on their faces. "Lord, he is really a good person. Then we will definitely not let them down." An hour later, he appeared here at the Bryan family's castle, Irmara. As for Mad German, he is not here, because he is already responsible for leading the team to Duke City to sell and purchase various target resources. "Irmala, how is the city construction plan I asked you to prepare earlier?" Raymond asked. "The Lord has already finished it. Based on the ideas and plans you mentioned before, this is the preliminary design drawn by our people. Can you take a look?" Irmala said quickly. Then he took out a large piece of magic design drawing. Obviously, this design drawing is definitely the work of a magician. Raymond took it and spread it out to look at it, and then immediately find a familiar look from it. Chapter 46. In his previous life, he came from Xianfu Shizhao, so the urban construction he was most familiar with was the 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings, etc. that were almost square. He could find similar places on this map, but he also saw a problem. "Irmala, this doesn't seem to be the original location of our Greystone village, right?" Raymond said doubtfully. "That's right," Yrmra nodded and explained. "Lord, the terrain near us is relatively steep, and there are many canyons and mountains, so it is not suitable for the construction method you mentioned to us before, and more importantly, the terrain here is narrow. It's hard to see it now. But in the future, when our population increases and the city becomes larger, the natural environment here will become our trouble and obstacle. So I discussed it with Master Chris, Knight Kona, and Matt German, and in the end everyone agreed to move to the city." "Is this here? What is this place? And if the city is moved, aren't there other noble fiefdoms here?" Raymond pointed to the position on the design map and said doubtfully. It doesn't matter to him whether to move the city or not, it's fine, but if it is calculated according to the rules of the Principality of Lane, nobles with titles can choose their own fiefs, territory, or even moving the city, but only at his own expense. In addition, if there are other noble fiefs in the destination area, it is not allowed. This is expressly prohibited. Of course, if he wants to, it is not impossible, but is it necessary? "Yes, Lord, this is it," Yrmra nodded and explained. "This place is called Fido Valley. To the east, it is close to the Fankeo Plain, and to the west, it is close to the Longton West River. It is a place with an excellent geographical location. If a city can be built here, it may even have the potential to develop into a giant city later, and there is currently no aristocratic territory in this place." After hearing this, Raymond became even more confused. "Wait, Irmala, you said that this place has an excellent location and great potential, but no one has chosen it as a fiefdom yet? Why? What's the problem here?" He's not stupid. He must know that there must be something wrong with a place like this. Otherwise, there will definitely be no one chosen. "Lord, there are indeed several problems here," Irmala nodded and explained. "First, it's taxation. Because this place is close to the West River of Longton, the overall taxation will be more than twice as high as other places." Raymond nodded. He knew that the feudal nobles of the Principality of Lane, like them, would pay taxes to the Principality on an annual basis, but at the same time, they would also pay taxes to the Principality based on the wealth of the resource points in the fiefdom area. Taxes are adjusted up and down. Under normal circumstances, the taxes on territories and fiefs close to the West River of Leylongton are high. Because the West River of Leylongton is the largest trade line in the Principality of Lane, also known as the Golden Line. Therefore, let alone twice, even 5 times or 10 times. This place is definitely being robbed by people. The Golden Thread, is definitely not a joke. Once you can occupy such a place as a fiefdom, with the support of Leylongdunxi River, your income would be extremely impressive. So he knew that the problem was definitely not here, but something else. Second, it is private taxation. Sure enough, Almira spoke again and said in a deep voice, in addition to state taxes, we also need to pay half of the remaining profits to the Olander family in taxes. How many? Half? Why? Raymond glared. Lord, there is no way. The unspoken rules are like this. In our area, the Olander family is the well-deserved overlord. In fact, before this, our Greystone village also had to pay taxes to them, but because we are very poor, and Baron Omar died just before winter, it doesn't seem to matter, but in fact, if my guess is correct, when early spring comes, the tax collector of the Oland family will also come with him. This is an annual ritual, Irmela said with a bitter smile. Convention? Bullshit convention. Raymond shook his head, but didn't say much, just said again anything else. Continue, Lord, there are 2 other reasons besides this. Yrmra nodded and continued, if a city is built in the Fido Valley, it will be bordered by the fiefdom of the Clan Noble Alliance. At that time, we will face 2 choices. If we join them, we will have to pay taxes. If we don't join them, we will be squeezed out and may even be unable to enter the West River of Leylongton to do business. Paying taxes again. Raymond's face turned dark. These idiots don't know how to do anything else besides paying taxes? No wonder no one dares to go there. National taxes, Oland family taxes, and the Clan Noble Alliance also have to collect taxes. It's equivalent to triple high-pressure tax. Who can withstand this? I'm afraid no one can withstand it. But this is no problem for him. Pay taxes? Pay a shit. The worst is to get into a fight. Moreover, the Lord has another question. Irmela said again, what is the problem, Lord? The core of the Clan Noble Alliance is the 4 viscounts who own territories and fiefs on the banks of the West River in Longton, Nala. And one of them is very familiar to you, that's Viscount Will. It's him. Raymond was stunned for a moment, a little surprised. Isn't this the unlucky guy who was blackmailed by him and had his vote torn apart? Is he the only one who is still the core? It seems that the strength of this so-called Noble Alliance is actually not that good. Yes, it's him. Irmra nodded and said with twinkling eyes, Lord, if we choose to build a city in Fido Valley, Viscount Will's bitten city will be not far next door. So, upon hearing this, Raymond couldn't help laughing. Isn't this great? Just in time to thank him for the level 5 magic core he sent me earlier. Ha 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 ha. He laughed a few times, and then asked again, what's the other question, Lord? This last problem is also the biggest problem in this place, Irmela said with a solemn expression. He stretched out his hand, pointed on the map, and then continued, in the northwest of the Fido Valley, there is a huge inland lake named Austin Lake, and in Lake Austin, there is a very cunning, dangerous, powerful and troublesome fishman tribe, Murloc tribe. Limang was stunned for a moment, a little surprised. What is this? Or clan? Sea clan? Or Warcraft? Yes, Lord, Fishman tribe, Irmela nodded and explained. Chapter 47. There are hundreds of thousands of fishmen in Lake Austin. And among them, there are several level 6 Murloc warriors, so it's very troublesome. In addition, they have no ability to produce food themselves and can only rely on hunting or robbery. So every time there is a food shortage, or when winter comes and Lake Austin is frozen, they will come out in advance to rob on a large scale. This is also the biggest reason why no one dares to come here and is left vacant. If the distance is too close, there will be no joint defense at all. Once attacked, there will be only death, Irmra said. But doesn't anyone care about them? Raymond said doubtfully. Even if there are few level 6s, we can still solve it, right? Especially those big nobles and level 7 experts. As long as we get rid of them, wouldn't it be done once and for all, Lord? This is mainly because the bottom of Lake Austin is connected to the Leylongton West River. Once things go wrong, they will pass through there and escape into the Leylongton West River, making it impossible to catch up, and if it's underwater, this is their main venue. It is said that even a level 7 strongman couldn't take them down personally, so it was settled later. Irmira explains, is that so? Raymond nodded, somewhat understanding. Murlocs must be the main underwater venue. Moreover, Lake Austin is actually connected to the West River of Longton, which makes those Murlocs even more excited. Big escape route. It's very difficult to kill, so of course it's difficult. But he is somewhat interested in it. Level 6? When Matt German and the others come back, his level 6 combat power should also be able to weigh a little more, and by then, he really isn't afraid of those guys sneaking in for a sneak attack. Once he takes advantage of the initial information gap to kill a few more of the opponent's top experts, he will definitely be able to win it steadily in the follow-up. This is absolutely unquestionable. By then, this so-called biggest trouble and crisis will be solved naturally. So this is actually nothing. Anyway, for him, the pressure and feeling are not big. As for the other problems, the alliance of Lie nobles and the Olander family, he didn't even care about it. They didn't want money. If they wanted to die, they could help them. Thinking of this, he didn't hesitate anymore. He just said it. He nodded and said, okay, let's just decide. Let's do it right here. Irmila, when will the city be moved? There are other people who don't have any opinions, right, Lord? If you have no objection, in a few days, the winter withdrawal period will end and early spring will arrive. At that time, we can directly start the migration of all people. Irmira smiled and said, as for the people, Lord, you can rest assured. You are good enough to them, and it is early spring, not winter. They are just migrating. No one will have any objections, so be it. As soon as he finished speaking, a huge figure suddenly flew down from the sky. It's the Griffin Merc, Lord, he said respectfully. What's up, Merc? Raymond asked curiously. Lord, when we were patrolling outside just now, we discovered that there was an army from the west coming in our direction, Merc said calmly. Army? Raymond was stunned for a moment and said in surprise. How many people? Is it very strong? At the same time, he also thought in his mind, who could this be? Could it be that Count Gudin's people came to kill him? Is he planning to turn his back? Even the subordinates of the 6th level strongman are not wanted. Such luxury? No, it shouldn't be them. How many days did I send out? It's only more than 10 days, it shouldn't be that fast. He shook his head and rejected the idea. Lord, their strength is not very strong. There are about 300 people, but most of them are level 1. There are also level 2, level 3, and level 4, but they are not many in number, only the guys at level 5, there seem to be 2 of them, 2 level 5 ones. Raymond was stunned for a moment, then looked at Irmila and asked, Irmila, do you think he is from the Olander family? The tax collectors you mentioned before, are they them, Lord? Probably not, but Irmila shook her head without hesitation and said, the regular army of the Olander family starts at least level 2, and cannot be a trainee at level 1. In addition, if you are here to collect taxes, there can't be so many people. Usually there are only a few people, maybe 10 or so at most. Yeah, forget it, let's just go and take a look. Raymond shrugged and said with a slight smile, Merc, please go and inform everyone. I didn't expect that someone would dare to trouble us. Haha, interesting, then let everyone go. For this kind of guest who dares to come to us for the first time to trouble us, we still have to give them a grand welcome ceremony. Although he said it with a smile, in fact, the sarcasm and coldness in his words still made it known to Irmila and Merc. The thoughts of their respected and great lord. What a bunch of idiots. Looks like some people are going to be out of luck, Irmila thought gloatingly in her heart. I'll go to the lord immediately. Merc nodded without hesitation, and then fluttered his wings and flew high. Not long after, all the troops of their Greystone village gathered in the square outside their Greystone village. Royal Griffin X1, Griffin X4, Temple Marksman X13, Temple Archer X42, Temple Great Soldier X123, Temple Lancer X194. In this way, a large wave of troops set off in a majestic manner, which also made the Greystone village. The villagers were surprised and curious. What's going on? Why are all the guards from Greystone village dispatched? Is there big trouble? I heard that an army is coming to attack us, and it's not far away from us. What? Who is it? Who dares to attack us? Looking for death? No, I have to go too. I want to fight for the Lord. That's right, the Lord has been so kind to us, we must not let him down. I am coming too. I am a level 3 intermediate knight. If anyone wants to go together, come with me. I go. I also need to go. Take me. Just like that, no one expected it. A big wave. There are hundreds of people. The army that gathered independently formed spontaneously in a short period of time, and then they quickly chased after the army of convoys that Raymond and the others had set off first. After seeing this scene, Master Chris on the city wall couldn't help but ask Irmela on the side. Mr. Tax collector, don't you worry about this. If they follow along like this, they won't cause any trouble, right? P.S. Dear handsome guys and beauties, if nothing else happens, it should be on the shelves tomorrow, with more than 100,000 words. The number of words has arrived. According to the usual practice, there will definitely be a wave of publication, tentatively 30,000 words. If there are more by then I will write more as I write more. In addition, the number of words in one chapter of my public chapter is more than 2,000. After it is published, it will be adjusted to 4K chapters. There is no need to worry about overpayment. Filu's subscription is very user-friendly and charges based on the number of words. More work for you. Yes. In the end, I just kneel down and beg to subscribe. Please subscribe. Everyone understands that writing books is to make money and earn money to eat. I am so poor. I really beg you. I must write seriously and have a good attitude. Especially the first subscription. It is the subscription of the first chapter, which is very important for a book. So please help me subscribe tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you. Chapter 48. He said that, but in fact, both his tone and eyes were full of disbelief and envy. When such a scene appeared, what did he see? He saw the hearts of the people. He wouldn't even dare to think about such a thing if it were to be in his former territory and fiefdom. This was simply impossible. But now, all this has really happened. It's really unbelievable, Tube. How to manage? I'm just a little tax collector. Ha 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 ha. Irmela laughed, her face full of pride and smile. I think they all know what's appropriate. Ordinary people, not even level 1 professionals, they were all level 2 and above guys who followed up. They were willing to do this, which was actually not bad. Moreover, this can be regarded as the reward they should give to the Lord. Isn't this what they should do? Ha 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 ha. Master Chris shook his head, and then suddenly became surprised. Where's Kona? Wasn't she here just now? Why is it missing? Isn't that what it is? Irmela pointed to a certain figure not far outside the city. She said with a smile, his movements are much faster than yours, isn't it, Master Chris? Ha 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 ha. Upon hearing this, Master Chris also smiled bitterly. If I had known I would have gone too. That won't work. Who will protect us if you go? Don't forget that there are still people in Greystone Village who need our care. Irmela shook her head, then turned and left. Let's go and get ready. This battle won't take long. It's time for us to prepare a grand triumphal welcome ceremony for them. A triumphal welcome. Master Chris was stunned for a moment, and then he squinted his eyes and laughed. This is a good idea. He deserves to be a tax collector. Ha 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 ha. Somewhere to the west of Greystone Village, Lord Knight Evan, we are very close to the Greystone Village. We should arrive there in less than an hour at most, someone said respectfully to the Evan Knight. Very good, Evan Knight also sneered and said coldly. Although it has allowed you to live one more winter, what is supposed to come will still come, Baron Raymond. Haha, since you are so brave, I want to see what you will do when you see us this time. Knight Evan, I heard that a baron in the royal capital was stripped naked and dragged along a road for 2 hours some time ago. How about we give it a try? How about dragging him back to Bitten City from here? Beside him, Dorance's sneer came. Suddenly, the smile on Evan Knight's face became even brighter. Great idea, Dorance. You are a genius. Ha ha ha. In order to thank you for this good idea, all of that guy's family members have been handed over to you. How about it? As soon as he heard this, a beast-like smile appeared on Dorance's face. You are a genius too, aren't you? Evan Knight, then I accepted this gift. Ha ha ha. Boom, boom, boom. But at this moment, the ground in the distance suddenly seemed to be shaking. What happened? Evan Knight and Dorance were stunned for a moment, and then their faces became gloomy. However, then, their pupils shrank and their faces changed greatly. Because at the foot of the steep mountain at the end of their sight, suddenly, many black heads appeared. Then, under their incredibly shocked eyes, those heads quickly enlarged and approached them quickly. In the end, they all turned into a powerful army that was eventually several hundred people in size. What? How is it possible? Why are there so many people here? This is the army. Who are they? Could it be the Olander family? Dollins's face changed greatly. He even turned pale, because he had recognized that the soldiers on the other side were not ordinary people. They were the lowest, and they were all level 1 or above. What is this concept? This made him some scalps are numb, because this can only show that the opponent is not only more numerous than them, but even the quality of their individual soldiers is more powerful than theirs. Damn it, what on earth is going on? But here it is at this time. Knight Evan took the lead to stabilize his mentality and shouted to the army in front. Hello everyone, I am Evan, the son of Viscount Will of Bitten City, a level 5 Earth Knight. I think we just happened to pass by here, just by chance. Let's get out of here now. Viscount Will. When he heard the name, Raymond narrowed his eyes and suddenly realized that after a long time, it turned out to be them. He had almost forgotten about it, but he didn't expect that these guys were still angry and dared to come to him. Come to take revenge? It's interesting. So he looked at the Evan Knight and smiled half-heartedly. Do you know who I am? Evan Knight was stunned for a moment, and then he looked at Raymond for a long time, but he still had no impression. We must have never met, right? Yes, we have indeed never met. However, I guess my name should be familiar to you. After all, you gave me a level 5 magic core last year, Raymond said with a smile. As soon as he said this, the Evan Knight's pupils shrank sharply, and then he blurted out in disbelief, You are Baron Raymond. Look, I knew you were familiar with my name. Ha 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 ha. Raymond laughed. She looked at him with a half-smile. Evan Knight, with so many people, it seems that you are here to take revenge on me, right? Suddenly the Evan Knight trembled, and his face turned pale. Impossible. This is impossible. How could you be that Baron Raymond? Isn't Greystone Village very weak and poor? How could you be so powerful? This is impossible. How? At this moment, long roars suddenly came from the sky above our heads. This immediately made Knight Evan and Dorrance look up reflexively, and then, they were even more terrified and trembling all over. My scalp is numb. Evan, demon, monster. That's a flying monster. And it's still level 5, Dorrance's face turned completely pale and full of fear. Although he has never seen it and does not know what kind of monster the griffin in the sky is, but he could feel that the strength of those guys was definitely level 5. Level 5 in total. How to fight this? Isn't this a dead end? P.S. Something happened. I accidentally misread the word count. I only have 106,000 words now, so I can't put it on the shelves. I will update the public chapter as normal today, so it should be tomorrow. It will be put on the shelves, tomorrow. I am still saying a few words. All handsome guys and beautiful ladies, help me support a subscription tomorrow. It would be best if you can turn on the automatic subscription. Please, guys who eat will just watch this wave, it's on the shelves. Data is very important for the future of this book, please. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49. Thinking of this, he was filled with regret. If he had known this would be the case, he would never have come here. What's this? This is simply courting death. And it wasn't just him, Knight Evan was also completely frightened at this time. Does he want to die? Of course he doesn't want to die. But the situation before him was really full of suffocation and despair for him. The combat power of 5 level 5 monsters? How could they be so strong? He couldn't believe it in his heart, but the fact was right in front of him, and he had to accept it. So, he could only beg for mercy next. Baron Raymond, it's all a misunderstanding. We're here just for, he explained with a pale face and a trembling voice, wanting to make a quibble, but when the words came to his lips, he didn't know how to say them out. Why do you think they brought so many people here? Besides revenge, besides killing, what else could it be? Could it be that they are still here to fish? When seeing this scene, Raymond just looked at him with a half-smile, and said, keep talking, I listen to your quibbles meaning. In the end, the Evan Knight went up and down in one breath for a long time, but still collapsed. I saw him hunching his head, lowering his head and begging for mercy. Baron Raymond, please spare me. It's my fault. I can compensate you for your losses, And I can spend money to buy your life. Spending money to buy your life is a routine operation, because most battles between nobles it doesn't involve life or death. If you lose, your family will suffer a big loss, but as long as the person is still alive, it will be fine. So now he is actually just worried about his money. He doesn't think Raymond will kill him, let alone kill him. You must know that he is a real nobleman, the dignified knight Baron Evan. Who dares to kill him? That would be sanctioned by the principality and even the entire aristocratic class. He would never dare. But what Raymond said next made his pupils shrink and he was completely frightened. Paying money to buy your life. Then if I kill you all, your money should be mine. No. Evan Knight's face changed drastically and he roared angrily, you can't do this. I'm a noble, I'm a baron just like you, you can't kill me, you don't have the right or qualification. However, Raymond was too lazy to talk nonsense to him. The next moment, he waved his hand, and suddenly dozens of arrows were fired in a rapid volley, and then there was hysteria immediately. The screams erupted, and many people fell down directly. Blood flowed freely, and they lost the ability to fight. Too weak, Raymond shook his head. The other party looked like there were many people. There are more than 300, but in fact, level 1 accounts for more than 300. But the problem is that these level 1 ones may not even be able to withstand several rounds of volleys from his temple marksmen and archers. They are completely targets. So there is no threat to combat effectiveness at all. Pure food delivery. But he will also be merciful. That's what war is like. There's nothing you can do about it. Go ahead and get rid of them. He waved his hand again, and then Alderson, Owens, Merc and the others in the sky, as well as all the troops behind him, rushed directly towards the opponent. And the next battle, of course, there was no suspense about the process and the result. In just over 10 minutes, the opponent's army, as well as the Evan Knights and Dorrants, were all killed. All were killed. They were all neat and tidy. No one was left alive. And this efficiency also shocked the people of Greystone Village, who subsequently participated in the war voluntarily. They were all shocked. It felt magical. Isn't this too strong? There are so many people, and there are so many level 4 and 5 enemies, but it's over so quickly, and they are all dead, and we still have 0 casualties. Am I dreaming? The guy who previously claimed to be a level 3 intermediate knight stammered and murmured with some doubts about life. And the Kona knight not far from him was also staring closely at the temple marksman. The army of archers remained silent, extremely shocked in their hearts. These armies of long-range marksmen and archers are really terrifying, if there are no special and effective defense methods, such as fighting spirit, magical power, etc. They are simply weapons of war, killing as many as they come, she murmured. As a level 4 senior knight, of course she still has some vision. How many of Raymond's army of sharpshooters and archers in the temple are there now? 13 out of 42, that is to say, this round of attack that's a total of 68 arrows. In 2 rounds, it can kill more than 100 people. Who can withstand this? No one can withstand it. So, her adjectives are really correct, this is true terrible. And more importantly, they have an even more powerful Griffin army in Greystone Village. The power that this 2+2 combination can unleash is really too powerful. I am afraid that below level 6, it will be a complete sweep. It is completely unbearable. What a blow. As expected of the Lord, you are so awesome. A great battle ended so simply, easily and happily. After briefly plundering the trophies from the corpses, Raymond and the others happily returned to the Greystone Village in Armilla and the people's improvised triumphal welcome ceremony. The atmosphere is almost like the atmosphere of a celebration banquet. So Raymond simply waved his hand and distributed some food and meat on a large scale, making them all happy. Then, that night, the castle of the Bryan family, Iramura, can we take down the city of Nabiton? Is this valuable? Lemon asked. Yes, he is now thinking of counterattack, because he did not tell lies before, and now he is indeed eyeing the wealth of Viscount Will. Anyway, since they dared to fight over, so now he will give it back and fight back. This should not be a problem, right? Lord, if you want to do this, you can, but I don't recommend you do it, Yurmura said softly. Why? There are mainly 2 reasons. First, Viscount Will is a Viscount. The higher the title, the greater the risk. Killing him in a big way will cause a lot of unnecessary trouble for us. Secondly, this will also directly trigger a backlash from the Clay Noble Alliance, explained Armilla. Anything else? Only this. Raymond frowned slightly. Another reason is that I think we can actually solve this problem in other ways. Any solution, just do it secretly. Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day family feedback. Deposit 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, September 29th to October 6th. Chapter 50. Do it secretly. Irma narrowed her eyes and said with a smile, now that Viscount Will has suffered so much loss, to be honest, we only need to send some people over to kill him secretly, at that time, forcing him to transfer the Viscount title to us, or secretly controlling him and letting him be a puppet to make money for us, are both good options. It can also save a lot of trouble. Good idea. Raymond nodded and said, Irma, this is a good idea. Afraid? He is definitely not afraid, but it is true that he is too lazy to bother. So as long as there is such a more convenient and efficient solution, it is of course better for him. What about moving and building a city? He asked again. Lord, I still stick to my opinion. Fido Valley is definitely the best choice. As long as we can solve the trouble of the Fishman tribe, the value and potential of that area will be absolutely astonishing, and this is very promising for us. Our strength should be able to do this, Irma insisted. Raymond thought for a while, then nodded and said, okay, then it's decided. When Matt German and the others come back, let's start moving to the city directly. Yes, Lord. Please believe me, I will do this perfectly, Irma said excitedly. That's up to you, Irma, so do it, come on. A few days later, Matt German and the others came back, and they also brought back a large amount of food, meat, building materials, and a series of various resources. And the magic core that Raymond has been thinking about for a long time. Level 6 magic core. Raymond, here are all the things we bought during our trip to Duke City. Are you satisfied with it? Ha ha ha, Matt German said with a laugh. He seemed to be very happy and proud, and that was indeed the case. The things he bought this time were so many that even Raymond didn't expect them. 2 level 6 magic cores, 5 level 5 magic cores? Not Uncle Matt German, is this what you did? Aren't the things and gold coins we have just enough to buy 2 level 6 magic cores? Why are there so many? Li Ming said with surprise on his face. He really felt a little incredible about this. At this time, there were 2 level 6 magic cores and 5 level 5 magic cores placed in front of him, a total of 7. The total value is probably close to 20,000 gold coins. These values are definitely far from what they originally estimated, but it is not less, but more. A lot more. What is even more exaggerated is that when Tegman and the others came back this time, they not only brought these magic cores, but also snacks, food, meat, infrastructure resources, construction resources, atlases, and even related personnel, etc. There were dozens of them. Xiong has everything he needs. He bought all these things for him. How on earth did he do this? Picked up so much for nothing? What on earth is going on? Yeah, I didn't expect it either, but it's all thanks to the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce. Matt German lamented Phoenix Chamber of Commerce. Raymond was stunned for a moment, as if he was a little confused about the name. That's right, Phoenix Chamber of Commerce, Matt German nodded and said with twinkling eyes. Raymond, this is one of the largest chambers of commerce in our Principality of Lane. At the same time, this is also a huge chamber of commerce at a transnational level. They are extremely large and have amazing strength. Their headquarters is not in our Principality of Lane. And I don't know where it is. But their branches have already opened all over our Principality of Lane, and even other countries in the nearby area. In short, this is a very powerful and terrifying behemoth. But why did they help us? Lemon asked doubtfully. Logically speaking, no one among them should know each other, right? I don't know either, but there is only one possibility, and that is the pattern, right? Matt German said with a wry smile. Pattern, yes, Matt German nodded and said with twinkling eyes. At that time, we actually couldn't even buy a level 6 magic core because no one would sell it to us. This was a strategic resource and its circulation was severely blocked. Just when I thought I was about to return in vain, Mr. Ethan from the Duke City branch of the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce found me personally and personally brought me these magic cores. He told me that their Phoenix Chamber of Commerce is a chamber of commerce that I like very much and am happy to make friends with. Therefore, they are willing to become friends with us. These are also their gifts and sincerity. Moreover, if we have any commodity resources, magic cores, etc. that are difficult to obtain in the future, we can go to Duke City to find him, and he will be happy to help us. After hearing this, Raymond couldn't help but open his mouth. His face changed a lot, and then he also sighed and praised. It is worthy of being a large chamber of commerce at the transnational level, and it does have a pattern. I like this, Mr. Ethan. Just making friends. You are actually willing to give so many substantial things? And sincerity? No matter what the other party's intentions are, it doesn't matter. These behaviors show that the other party is really powerful. It's very grand and well structured. Then he silently kept this benefit in mind, and then took out the drawings of Irma's city relocation plan and handed it to Matt German. Uncle Matt German, look at this. Matt German took a look at the drawing, then nodded and said, Raymond, I agree with Irma's plan, because the location of our Greystone village is indeed not very good. The reason why your father and I chose this place was because it was very remote and safe, but correspondingly, this place is also very poor, with nothing and almost no development potential. If we can build a city in the Fido Valley and persist, its future potential and hope will definitely be huge. I can't even imagine it, so I agree with this plan. Raymond, let's move to the city next. Matt German looked at Raymond. Good, then it's decided. Lemon didn't hesitate, he just nodded and made the final decision. Uncle Matt German, you and Irma will handle the matter of promulgating the decree. After the arrival of early spring, let's start moving to the city directly. Yes, Lord Baron. Please leave it to us, Matt German said confidently. Although moving to the city is a big deal, Raymond's magical changes and divine blessing have given him full confidence and confidence. They can definitely do this and they can definitely succeed. And during this shopping trip to Duke City, he also prepared in advance to purchase a large number of construction resources and talents. Yes, to put it bluntly, it is a slave trade. In this world, the slave trade exists, and many capable losers are slaves. This is cruel, but it is also reality. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.